And our viewers, India is preparing a major security update for the national capital. The government is now moving to deploy a fully indigenous integrated air defense weapon system to protect the Delhi NCR from hostile aerial threats, ranging from missiles to drones to even faster moving fighter aircraft. This new multi-layered shield will be now built around homegrown technology, including the quick reaction surface-to-air missile system and very short-range and air defense missiles, which are supported by advanced surveillance and command control networks. Remember, this comes just months after Pakistan allegedly attempted targeting India during Operation Sindoor. Crucially, this move marks a shift away from the earlier plan to buy American NASAMS 2 system, reportedly shelved due to high cost. The project will now be driven by DRDO and the Indian Air Force, and with the QRSAM and MRSAM and the upcoming long-range SAM under Project Kusha, India is now steadily building a homegrown missile defense ball, as it also awaits remaining S-400 units and is currently studying the S-500 proposal as well. So clearly a big leap towards a self-reliant air defense and a stronger sky over the capital city. All right, it's a big boost to India's indigenous air defense system and also a big boost when it comes to protection over the capital city. Now, we are looking for a major upgrade for the national capital this time. The government, it seems, is now going to deploy a fully indigenous integrated air defense weapon system to protect Delhi NCR. Remember, we're talking threats such as missiles, drones, and even faster moving fighter aircraft. So viewers, this new multi-layered shield will be built around homegrown technology, including the quick reaction surface-to-air missile system and very short-range missile systems as well. And now viewers, on to Pakistan. Tensions escalated outside Rawalpindi's Adiala jail as family members of former Pakistani Prime Minister and PTI founder Imran Khan staged a sit-in protest. They are alleging a mistreatment and illegal isolation inside the prison. Now his sisters, Alima Khan and Usma Khan, in fact, joined PTI workers in voicing serious concerns over his health, security and lack of access despite a court order permitting visits twice a week. Now, Alima Khan, while addressing supporters, said, and I quote her here, that the family has been coming every Tuesday for 8 months now, but has been repeatedly denied meetings with Imran Khan. She even accused officials of keeping him in unlawful solitary confinement and subjecting him to psychological pressure.
6 महीने 8 महीने से आ रहे हैं, हम ट्यूसडे को यहाँ बैठ जाते हैं जब तक हमें किसी को इजाजत नहीं मिलती मुलाकात करने की। तो इमरान खान को ये टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं, इसको इलीगल आइसोलेशन में किया हुआ है। ये इमरान खान का टॉर्चर खत्म करेंगे, ये टॉर्चर है जो इमरान खान के साथ कर रहे हैं, ये उसको तोड़ना चाहते हैं।
Now, viewers, the protests intensified as senior PTI leaders, including Salman Akram Raja and Junaid Akbar Khan, also arrived at the site, indicating the party's growing frustration with the ruling regime and, of course, the prison staff. Remember, this comes weeks after Usma Khanun was allowed a rare 20-minute meeting during which she claimed that her brother appeared physically stable but was facing severe psychological pressure. In fact, her allegations that Pakistan's army chief was responsible for the mental torture had prompted a sharp rebuttal from Pakistani military, deepening the war of words that's now undergoing between PTI and the army. The government has now since barred Usma and others from future visits, accusing them of violating prison rules by engaging in political discussions. In fact, with the restricted access and conflicting claims now coming to light, concerns over Imran Khan's treatment continue to mount in Pakistan. And now, viewers, the Thiruvananthapuram Sessions Court will pronounce its order today on the anticipatory bail plea which has been filed by Palakkad MLA Rahul Mamutil in the rape case registered by Crime Branch. Now, the court had in fact reserved its earlier verdict this week and directed that no coercive action be taken against the MLA until the order is delivered, giving him temporary protection from the arrest. Now, the case was registered based on a complaint filed by a 23-year-old woman who alleges that Rahul raped her after promising marriage. In fact, this complaint was first emailed to KPCC President Sunny Joseph, who then forwarded to the State Police Chief, prompting the FIR in this case. Now, viewers, according to the FIR, Rahul allegedly contacted the survivor via telegram back in 2023 and then later took her to a secluded homestay with the help of his friend who drove the car. And there, he is accused of raping her despite resistance and causing even injuries. Rahul has now been booked under Section 376 of the IPC, and the probe is currently being led by Deputy SP Sajeev K of the Crime Branch. So this is the latest we're getting in the Rahul Mamutil rape case. Today, the verdict is likely to come by the Thiruvananthapuram Sessions Court. It will in fact pronounce its order on the anticipatory bail plea which has been filed by the Palakkad MLA Rahul Mamutil. Remember, it's a very serious case with grave allegations against the Palakkad MLA. In fact, in this case, it is based on a complaint which was filed by a 23-year-old woman who alleges that Rahul raped her after promising marriage. This complaint was first emailed to KPCC President, who forwarded to then State Police Chief, which then of course prompted the FIR and the legal process. And now, viewers, in a major development coming in the probe into the Sabarimala gold scam, the Special Investigation Team of the Crime Branch will now record the statement of senior Congress leader Ramesh Chenithala. Now, the Arpora MLA is expected to reach the Crime Branch headquarters at about 11 a.m. today to give his statement based on the allegations related to the involvement of an international antique smuggling racket in the gold theft that took place at Ayyappa Temple. Now, in fact, Chenithala had reportedly sent a letter to the SIT alleging that gold panels which were looted from the Sabarimala temple were handed over to the middlemen of an antique smugglers. Now, on Saturday, he also told media that he holds evidence to prove his allegations and expressed his willingness to give a statement before the SIT as well. He had in fact alleged that those involved in the Sabarimala gold scam entered into a deal worth rupees 500 crore. And following this, the SIT then issued a notice asking him to appear for interrogation, which he will be doing today. And now, viewers, as the winter session of the Karnataka legislature began in Belagavi, the opposition BJP held a large-scale farmers' protest yesterday. Now, the large-scale demonstration outside the Suvarna Saudha, in fact, saw participation of nearly 20,000 farmers. This agitation was focused on farmers' issues, including demands for higher support prices for maize and sugarcane, the establishment of procurement centres, and also the rising concerns over the Tungabhadra Dam's crest gate. But Karnataka Minister H.K. Patil slammed the farmers' protest, calling it unreasonable and immoral. He alleged that the central government is saying that this is a problem created by the government of India and not the state government.
What farmers' issue? Are they talking of sugarcane growers? Are they talking of maize growers? Are they talking of green gram growers? Are they talking of santrastas from UKP third stage? What problems of farmers? Actually, problem is created by Government of India when fixing MRP, when fixing FRP, when fixing the sugar rate, and they are creating problems for farmers and they want to protest against state government. It is totally bankruptcy of intellectual capability of BJP. Nothing but bankruptcy of intellectual capability, and also such immoral, totally unreasonable protest. For what?
All right, bankruptcy of total intellectual capacity is what H.K. Patil said. Meanwhile, the BJP state president B.Y. Vijayendra says that their struggle is against the Congress government, which has neglected the farmers of the state. Slamming the state government, he also said that he only thinks that CM Siddharamaiah is hiding his inefficiency, hiding the failures of the Congress government. In fact, viewers, this protest was organized by Belagavi district unit of the BJP senior opposition leaders, including R. Ashoka, BJP state president B.Y. Vijayendran, and several other party MLAs also participated in this protest. And now, viewers, for the first time on Indian television, News9 brings you an exclusive journey to the sacred land of Galwan, the ground where India's brave soldiers stood firm against Chinese aggression on 15 June 2020. Now, our team reached the high-altitude valley and captured the rare visuals of the Galwan War Memorial, recently dedicated to the nation. This is a story of unmatched courage, sacrifice and national pride, a tribute, in fact, to our heroes who wrote their history with valor. Take a look at this report.
इस वक्त हम LAC पर मौजूद है और यहाँ पर तापमान -20 डिग्री है। जहाँ पर हम खड़े हुए हैं ये शोक नदी है। शोक नदी, जिसे मौत की नदी भी कहा जाता है, इस वक्त बर्फ की चादर बन चुकी है। चारों तरफ बर्फ ही बर्फ है और ठंडी से पूरा ये इलाका आप देख सकते हैं, बर्फ जो है पीछे तक पूरी जम गई है। शोक नदी की सबसे खास बात यह है कि ये उत्तरी लद्दाख से होते हुए गिलगिट बाल्टिस्तान यानी पाकिस्तान तक जाती है और ये सिंधु नदी की ही एक सहायक नदी है। और यहाँ पर हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं, हम LAC के पहाड़ों को भी आपको दिखाते हैं। लद्दाख में जिस तरीके से हमारे सैनिक जो हैं सीमाओं की निगरानी करते हैं, रक्षा करते हैं, ये जो पहाड़ हैं ये भी दुश्मन से हमारी सीमाओं की रक्षा करते हैं और ये नदियां भी जो हैं ये दुश्मन से हमारी रक्षा करते हैं। फिलहाल सर्दी में क्योंकि -20 तापमान है, ये जो बर्फ है आपको जो नजर आ रही है, ये नदी जो है फिलहाल जम गई है और पूरी बर्फ की चादर यहाँ पर नजर आ रही है। फिसलन भी बहुत ज्यादा है, लेकिन अमूमन यहाँ पर बहुत तेज रफ्तार से पानी बहता है। और सबसे खास बात यह है कि ये नदी जो है ये सिंधु नदी यानी कि जो इंडस रिवर है उसकी एक सहायक नदी है।
And now viewers, on to US. President Donald Trump is once again escalating his attacks on Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, reviving the long disputed and unproven allegations about her immigration history. Now this time, Trump claimed without providing any evidence that Omar entered the US by marrying her brother, and also said that she should, quote-unquote, go back and fix her own country. Now, Trump also described Somalia as one of the worst countries in the world and called the recent developments in Minnesota horrible. Listen into the statement.
I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but she's always complaining. She comes from a country where, I mean, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no military, they have no nothing, they have no parliament. They don't know what the hell the word parliament means. They have nothing. They have no police. They police themselves. They kill each other all the time. I love it. She comes to our country and she's always complaining about the Constitution allows me to do this. We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother in order to get in, right? She married her brother.
Now, viewers, these remarks about Somalia and, in fact, Omar come just after a week of repeated criticism from Trump, including the comments he made about Air Force One, where again he questioned Omar's citizenship. Now, Trump has additionally announced the end of temporary protected status as well for Somalis who are living in Minnesota, accusing the Democratic-led state of widespread immigration fraud, an allegation that the state officials strongly deny. Now, viewers, when we talk about the Congresswoman Omar, who arrived in the U.S. as a refugee in 1995 and became a naturalized citizen, has repeatedly dismissed rumors about her marital history as false and politically motivated. In fact, legal experts note here that a naturalized citizen can only be deported if the government proves intentional fraud during the process of naturalization, something that seems to have not occurred in Omar's case. But online speculation has intensified, fueled in part by comments made from entrepreneur Elon Musk as well, who accused Omar of importing Somali immigrants to expand her voter base. Democrats, including Omar, have now defended a Minnesota Somali community, calling the rhetoric dangerous and inflammatory. And now, viewers, the talks between India and the United States are gaining momentum. Deputy U.S. Trade Representative Rick Switzer is now set to visit India today for a crucial visit. The visit, in fact, comes as New Delhi is now seeking to ease the punitive U.S. tariffs imposed on Indian goods following its purchase of Russian oil. Remember, 50% tariffs imposed by the U.S. still remain in force. And this visit comes in the backdrop of, in fact, Trump hinting of fresh tariffs on Indian rice exports. Addressing to the media, MEA spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal, in fact, said that this visit is a familiarization visit as well to meet with senior officials in the government of India. Jaiswal also said that both governments remain engaged with the objective of concluding a fair, balanced and mutually beneficial multi-sectoral financial trade agreement, while adding that several rounds of discussion between the two sides have already taken place. Take a listen.
The new Deputy U.S. Trade Representative, Ambassador Rick Switzer, he will be visiting India on 10th and 11th of December. This visit is a familiarization visit, as also to meet with senior officials in the Government of India. As you are aware, both governments remain engaged with a view to concluding a fair, balanced and mutually beneficial multi-sectoral bilateral trade agreement.
And now, in a strong signal of India's growing dominance in the global tech landscape, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a marathon round of high-level meetings with the CEOs of 3 global technology giants, including Cognizant, Microsoft and Intel. Now, the focus here was very clear, viewers: accelerate foreign investment in artificial intelligence, semiconductors and digital infrastructure in India. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella announced a landmark investment as well to power India's AI future. Nadella here revealed that Microsoft will invest $17.5 billion, the company's largest investment in Asia to date. Nadella, in fact, called his discussion with Prime Minister inspiring and said the company now aims to support India's ambitions to become AI-first economy. Now, the massive pledge will, in fact, accelerate India's drive to become a global AI hub. Remember, the investment plan is expected to include expansion of cloud and supercomputing infrastructure, scaling AI skilling initiatives, as well as strengthening secure sovereign data systems. Now, further, Prime Minister also held a conversation with Cognizant CEO Ravi Kumar S., who discussed expanding operation at the company's major development hubs, both in Chennai as well as Pune. Here, the talks centered on job creation, scaling digital engineering, as well as boosting cloud capabilities. Now, Cognizant, in fact, reiterated its commitment to align with India's digital public infrastructure vision. And finally, the meeting came with the CEO of Intel, a crucial conversation that took place and aligned with India's semiconductor mission. Discussions here explored expanding Intel's design and R&D ecosystem in India, and also the feasibility of a cutting-edge fabrication unit under India's incentive-backed chip manufacturing drive. And now viewers, some sports news. India produced a commanding performance in Cuttack as South Africa were bowled out just for 74, their lowest T20 international total ever, handing India a massive 101-run victory in the series opener. Now the night clearly belonged to Hardik Pandya, making a dream comeback with a blistering unbeaten 59 of 28 balls on a tricky red soil pitch that troubled almost every batter. Now supported by crucial cameos from Tilak Verma, Abhishek Sharma, Akshar Patel and Jitesh Sharma, India posted a competitive 175 for 6. The bowlers then turned the contest clearly into a one-sided affair. Arshdeep Singh struck twice inside the power play. Akshar Patel dismantled the middle order and Jasprit Bumrah, Varun Chakravarti and even Shivam Dube, they chipped in as the visitors collapsed in just 12.3 overs. Now Arshdeep also entered the elite 100 T20 international wicket club, but in fact it was Pandya's all-round composure and power that defined the gap between the two sides on a challenging night. And viewers, that's a wrap from my side. Thank you so much for tuning in and stay tuned to News9 for further coverage.
This is India's #1 news network and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा से लोन लेना एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक है सर। वाटर प्रूफिंग के लिए बेस्ट है।
वेंकी जी, एक छोटा सा गिफ्ट बिरला ओपस अश्योरेंस देने के लिए।
ऐसा क्या है इसमें?
1 साल में वाटर प्रूफिंग को कुछ भी हुआ तो वापस करके देंगे।
वापस करके देंगे,
वो भी फ्री। पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपस अश्योरेंस। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
25 लाख का हॉस्पिटल बिल है, इतने पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे?
पैसों की चिंता आप मत कीजिए पापा।
मैम, सर का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस क्लेम अप्रूव हो गया है।
आप
पॉलिसी बाजार।
पॉलिसी बाजार पर 0 GST के साथ अब 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
हर स्वाद में बसा, हर दाद में बसा, ये मेरा चीज है।
50 सालों से जो बना इस देश की शान, वो है अमूल चीज।
Our honorary speaker, Rupa Kudva, whose journey across the boardrooms and as Chief Executive Officer of CRISIL has steered innovation. Her book, Leadership Beyond the Playbook, has established her as the country's foremost business leader. Eastern India's first Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025. 20th and 21st of December, Taj Tal Kutir, Kolkata.
AIADMK presents Bomber Lorry, Associate Sponsor. Mukhara Chowk, Associate Sponsor. Alliance Broadband, Associate Sponsor.
I am really motivated to grow my career, learn new skills and prove myself.
अगले हफ्ते जॉब इंटरव्यू है, इंग्लिश में प्रैक्टिस करें?
Sure, let's try some.
I want good career, new skills, खुद को प्रूव करना है।
Great, you can try. I'm really motivated to grow my career, learn new skills and prove myself. और हाँ, तुम ये भी बता सकती हो कि इस इंडस्ट्री और इस कंपनी को लेकर तुम क्यों एक्साइटेड हो।
Red Fort explosion. Let's get you all the updates. Following the blast, there is of course a South Indian connection of Dr. Shaheen Shahid. Because this is news of national import, that search operations are underway across the entire Al Falah University campus. The blast killed 12 people. Prices, however, of Nandini ghee have been hiked. KMF has defended Nandini is the brand. I've been getting a lot of queries on my phone. What's for the people of Karnataka? Okay, you can play tennis as much as you want to, but I'm the umpire and I will say please. There is an eyeball to eyeball confrontation. Where is this going? What is the way out? The farmers, they can actually shake a nation. Both of you down, because I can also shout Prashant ji.
Saudi Arabia has banned alcohol
for more than 70 years. So when whispers spread that an unmarked store in Riyadh was selling alcohol to wealthy foreign residents, it did not take long for a queue to form and cars to come. The liquor store, previously open only to diplomats, is now selling it to non-Muslim foreigners who hold an expensive premium residency permit. So let me tell you what the residency permit is. It's a premium permit limited to few people who have been conferred high status or have a high status, very wealthy, highly educated, either foreigners who are working in the government-owned entities or in critical sectors like health. No public announcement has been made. Riyadh store is not even available on the website. Dual pricing has been introduced, premium residency expensive than the diplomatic rates, which means that diplomats have one rate, premium residency has another rate. Now in the span of a decade, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has remade the kingdom from top to bottom. Once infamous for his religious police, strict dress code and ban on women driving, Saudi Arabia now hosts mixed gender raves and Saudi women are free to drive, work and travel abroad as they please. For instance, as recently as 2018, all commercial establishments across kingdom closed several times a day to mark prayer. They no longer do, but there was no formal announcement of this shift. Instead, business practices changed over a year, though it has caused some confusion in the society, but the change is evident. The Saudi government officially outlawed alcohol in 1950s. Now it's allowed. At that point of time, people said that it was outlawed because the prohibition came after a son of the Saudi Arabia's founding king killed a British diplomat during an alcohol-fueled dispute. Now officials are also under pressure to expand tourism and increase the government's non-oil revenue, both key parts of Prince Mohammed bin Salman's economic diversification plan. Despite its vast oil wealth, Saudi Arabia is currently experiencing a budget crunch and it is expected to face fiscal deficit in the coming years. On this issue, I am joined by Dr. Zakir Hussain. He is a West Asia expert, research fellow, Indian Council of World Affairs. So the question is not about just alcohol. The question is Saudi Arabia going the Dubai way under Mohammed bin Salman, or is just superficial?
Of course, you are right. It is going to the way of Dubai, because it is walking on the footprints of Dubai, and it is what is happening, one nation, two system. That's why they are introducing on a very limited level to the people who are very rich, and they are inviting them to stay in the country, while at the same time they are not allowing their own public as well as poor expatriates to join that stream. And this shows two things. Number one, economic pressure the kingdom is facing. For the first time, it is facing the fiscal deficit of more than $15 billion. And on the other hand, it is working on image transformation. This Mohammed bin Salman has iconed himself as a change, as a transformation of the kingdom to a modern one, and that's why he is taking all these steps. But what I feel that there might be a backlash in the background nurturing, because everything is going on, only the youth and the foreigners are enjoying these benefits, while the rest of the people are still conservative. So what I feel that Saudi Arabia is at a crossroad of Dubai on the one hand, and on the other, it is also, if it is not taking measured approach or whatever, taking the consideration of the public, it is at the crossroad of Iranian Islamic Republic. Because if backlash becomes overpowering to the regime, then there might be a major upheaval in the country. While if it succeeds, then it may turn into a Dubai model in a limited enclave.
Is it because it is custodian to the two most holy shrines of Islam? Is it because of that?
This is because of two reasons. Of course, is claiming the custodian of Holy Islam, two cities of Holy Islam on the one hand. The conservative people of the Saudi Arabia are not ready to accept these changes, which is violating against their norms.
But they want a subsidized life.
petrol subsidized life.
If they are not giving them freedom to participate in governance, this is the reason they have to give subsidized life. If they are not going to give subsidized life, they have to give participation in the governance, which regime is not accepting. While in Islam, kingship or regimeship is not accepted even. So there are various confusion among the Muslim community all over the world, and the division is also on this line that Islam does not allow kingship, while in practice they are doing the same. And for Muslim like us, for me, we don't bother about Saudi Arabia, what they are doing. Our concern is only for the two holy cities, but we also find that they are commercializing the religious act. Commercial tourism is religious. They are promoting religious tourism. That is also one way to earn money. It is said that more than $40 billion they are making money from Hajj and Umrah. So there are various transformations are taking place, but still experts are not able to understand what is happening beneath the surface, how it will be reacted by the conservative section of the kingdom. This is a very irony of the kingdom. He is going to Washington, he is going to China.
You use the word Iran, Dr. Hussain, the conservative strand of the Saudi politics became, evident, and they became even more conservative one after the Iranian revolution, because Iran became even more Islamic in character. And the second, when someone declared himself a Mehdi, and the French forces had to be called, and the entire exercise had to be taken to get those people out of the holy sanctum sanctorum. And after that, we all know what happened in 1980s. So in that respect, first came Iran and then came Saudi Arabia.
I am comparing with Iran that Shah of Iran, Raza Shah Pahlavi of Iran, also experimented with the same extreme liberalization of the country.
Okay.
That created backlash, and that he was not able to grasp the psychologies of the people. The same thing is happening here in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Such kind of anger may be developing, and that may lead the same kind of regime revolution in the country. So Saudi Arabia is experimenting with a dangerous thing, and of course it is facing economic crisis. Oil is no more. America is challenging as a competitor in the world market. We see what President Trump is doing, forcing every country who were the first buyer of Saudi Arabia. Now they are buying American oils. These are various issues which is making the Saudi prince to introduce all these things.
I know it's a complex thing. I know it's a complex issue, but the last party which Mr. Pahlavi had at the time was India was preparing for war with Pakistan, actually subsequently led to his demise, where he called all the world leaders. And mind you, Indira Gandhi didn't attend that lavish dinner where he created and erected a city in the oasis. So I know the context. Yeah. But then perhaps the difference, not in defense of MBS, is Raza Shah Pahlavi displayed his wealth. MBS has not done that on your face. I think that's the difference we have to...
there is a difference.
There is a difference, but I've really run short of time. But some other time we'll have a longer debate on Saudi Arabia with you. So this is all I had on On Point today. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you and good night. Associate sponsor, Bank of Baroda से लोन लेना एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक है.
Welcome to a cheese spread made with pure milk. For chilly evenings. For peppery sundowners. For garlic afternoons. For tikka picnics. Welcome to Amul cheese spread. Spread the richness.
सोच रहा हूँ टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ले लूं ताकि मेरे बाद फैमिली को पैसों की कमी ना हो. तू भी ले ले.
अबे जल्दी क्या है, बाद में देख लेंगे. आराम से.
अपने कुणाल को हार्ट अटैक आ गया यार. पॉलिसी बाजार पर 0 GST के साथ अब 1 करोड़ का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 400 रुपए महीने से शुरू.
Our honorary speaker, A.K. Bhattacharya, India's foremost business and economy journalist with a career spanning more than 4 decades and author of the seminal 3-volume India's Finance Ministers. Eastern India's first Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025, 20th and 21st December, Taj Talkutir, Kolkata.
AIADMK presents Bomber Lorry, Associate Sponsor. Mukhara Chowk, Associate Sponsor. Alliance Broadband, Associate Sponsor.
लाइफ जब भी आगे बढ़ने का मौका दे तो अपनी सुपर पावर, अपना गोल्ड यूज करिए और IIFL फाइनेंस से गोल्ड लोन लीजिए।
IIFL फाइनेंस करता है सीधी बात।
All right, we're getting some breaking news and it has to do with this, of course. But this is breaking. DMK moves to impeach Justice G.R. Swaminathan. But the breaking news about this particular topic is that the left parties have issued a joint statement alleging attempts to whip up communal tensions in Tamil Nadu by manufacturing a controversy around the religious sites situated on Tirupparakundram Hill in Madurai district. This comes as DMK, including other India Bloc MPs, have moved to impeach Madras High Court Judge Justice G.R. Swaminathan. That's the breaking news on your screens right now. Those who are watching the South Indian, the left parties have now issued a joint statement in Tamil Nadu alleging attempts to whip up communal tensions in the state by manufacturing a controversy around the religious site situated on Tirupparakundram Hill in Madurai district. This comes even as DMK, including other India Bloc MPs. We saw a lot of MPs, and on your screens right now, there is of course Kanimuri, there is also Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, there is also Akhilesh Yadav. They all join to give an impeachment notice to Mr. Om Birla against Justice G.R. Swaminathan. Let me now go across to the guests on the show. Salem Dharanidharan, spokesperson for the DMK, and Satish Kumar, advocate, Madras High Court. Thanks very much, both of you, for joining us on this broadcast. So let me first go to Salem Dharanidharan. Dharanidharan, tell me something that the High Court, Madras High Court, of course, Madurai High Court said that, this is it. You can go light the lamp on the Deepam Thun, that is the pillar, and you can do it. And he told the petitioner that you shall also get kind of protection to do it. Of course, the state government, and we saw in Tirupparakundram, section 144 was imposed to see that this does not happen, because let me also add, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people and those belonging to Hindu Munnani and other BJP parties had gathered there and broken barricades. I want to ask you, Salem Dharanidharan, that, of course, the DMK has been citing the 2017, order of the division bench, which said that the same thing had come at that time, and they had said that, no, this is not done. Light up the lamp at the pillar, at the temple, as it is being done traditionally, and not on the Deepam Thun. Why do you think that there is whipping up of sectarian violence or communal violence here?
It's a very simple matter. Is this a process that's been followed in the last 5 years that we want to change, or last 50 years that we want to change? No, this has been the process that at the lower hill is where the Thun used to be lighted. This has been happening for the last 200 years, even before the founding of Justice Party. And the matter was settled during the British Raj itself in the 1920s. And both the Hindus and Muslims there are living in harmony. There is one of the, I think, is an examples in India. Right, this place serves an example in India for religious harmony. Now, this whole issue is being raked up by political parties who wants to create religious disharmony. That is the point here. And even the previous judgment, except for this specific judgment, have always maintained the status quo. Even with the AIADMK, BJP's alliance partner, many senior leaders, for example, the former fisheries minister, Jay Kumar, Sellu Raju, former minister of the AIADMK, have said the status quo should continue. We want religious harmony to continue. Even until Jayalalitha's time, this was the norm. What my chief minister is following now. Because the chief minister has the legitimacy from the people, he is elected by the people, it is his duty to abide by the constitution, secularism, to uphold religious harmony, and to make sure no law and order crisis happens.
Sure. That seems very logical, Dharanidharan.
Also to listen to the people why. Yeah, people of Tamil Nadu wants the status quo to continue, which is why my chief minister did not listen to the order. In the sense, which is why my chief minister appealed to the Supreme Court against this order.
Right.
This is a very interesting point to note. Then we also went through an impeachment because we think the judge has been partial based on certain other.
So that's what I want to ask you, Dharnidharan, that do you think, with due respects to Justice G.R. Swaminathan, sir, do you think that the Justice Swaminathan was being biased? Is that what the DMK is alleging? Because the left parties have also joined the cause now.
See, about 120 parliamentarians have signed the impeachment motion. It is there in the Constitution. Article 217/124 says if there is a suspicion that the Justice in the High Court or the Supreme Court is acting in a partial manner, impeachment proceedings could be launched. The fact that we're launching impeachment procedure itself means that we do not have confidence in him. We suspect, I use the word here, we suspect him to have acted in a partial manner. Thereby, we are going to the parliament following the constitution. So now what is the problem? It is in the constitution. We are going to make our merits. We are going to speak in the parliament about this. If there is merit, the individual parliamentarians, if they believe it, they are going to vote for it. Let the constitution.
Satish, ladies and gents, I also don't believe that status quo is something civilizations adopt. Things change. We are constantly in a state of flux. The things which were done yesterday. I'm not even countering what you're saying, Dharnidharan. Please, I'm not. I'm just saying status quo sometimes is good. Status quo sometimes can be very bad as well. I mean, I'm going to give you an extreme example of Sati. No status quo, and thank God for small mercies that today we are all sitting here working and being empowered as women. But in this case, the status quo. Satish, you are an advocate. That day when I did this show with you, I just thought that people should have a right to light the lamp where they want to. And it has nothing to do with the dargah or with, let us say, a church, hypothetically speaking. But as we see the 2017 judgment by the division bench, it is very clear that the same case had come up and they had said status quo, much like what Dharnidharan is saying. Justice Swaminathan then went ahead and quoted 1923, correct me if I am wrong, where this thing had been there, centuries old. Do you think that there was a bit of legal overdrive and overdoing in this case, Satish Kumar?
Absolutely not, Sudha, because when the matter has been brought before Justice Swaminathan, the state government has brought all these arguments before him, whether the status quo case and also the 1931 Supreme Court order, because that is related to a land dispute only. And there also the question of the Deepam Toon, that is a pillar, the sanctity of the pillar and the status of the pillar, all those things were brought before the Honorable High Court, before the Justice Swaminathan also in a single bench. And when the order was passed, subsequently when the state government has gone for an appeal before the two-member bench, the two-member bench also confirmed, upheld the order. In that case, the question of status quo does not arise at all because been overruled, as you say. Now, when the two-member bench has passed an order, after that also, the state government is so adamant not to give due respect to the order and proceeding towards impeachment against her.
Yeah, that is, Satish, the thing is that the land dispute thing has been, there was a dispute. Whether it belongs to the Sikandar Dargah, the staircase and everything, I know there was. Beg your case, the dispute was more about where should the lamp, the valakku, the deepam should be lit. And it was always in the Uchi Pillayar Kovil, that is the place where it was supposed to be lit.
Sudha, the moksha deepam, this is totally different because whoever the soul goes, there is a strong belief that the moksha deepam is totally for the people who has a belief on Sanatan or maybe on Lord Muruga. For that souls, generally the lamp is lit on that moksha deepam. Please don't connect moksha deepam with the Kartikeya deepam too. This totally both are different because even recently we came to know that in 1980 the archaeological department a report has come. It says that the deepam toon where for prolonged years and from centuries the Kartikeya deepam was lit on that pillar only.
Report, Satish, by historians like Mr. Muthukrishnan, the writer, who says it's all a fallacy. And also, let me also add, those who believe in Sanatana are not necessarily Muruga Bhaks and they needn't do it. Mixing these two is mischievous.
This is guaranteed.
This is mixing the two is mischievous. So are you against, why bring Sanatana word, Satish? Why bring that word?
I am saying Sanatana because it's you think,
That's
a
your
belief.
belief.
See,
I am asking
there
you,
is
Satish.
religious belief.
You
No,
you
this
are
is
an
guaranteed in the
advocate, Satish
Constitution.
Kumar. I am asking you, do you think the
Okay, let
impeachment
it be
is...
in Hindu religion. In Hindu religion, I
Thank you
would say
very
rather.
much. Thank you very much. I could
I'll
be...
say rather Hindu
Wait a
religion.
minute. Wait a minute, Satish. Do you think the impeachment is uncalled for, unfair?
It's absolutely unfair and
All
it
right.
has no
Dharnidharan.
meaning at all.
Dharnidharan, over to you, sir.
I do not think. Why do we have it in the Constitution? We believe that the judgment, the impartiality in the judgment, we feel that there's been undue favoritism and we feel there's an ideological bias. And that is why we've gone for impeachment and that is why this is there in the Constitution. I don't think nothing much has been added to it. But more importantly, what is paramount in any democracy is the will of the people. People of Tamil Nadu, irrespective of their faith, want the status quo to continue and do not want these kind of religious disharmony to happen. Like the template that was followed by one specific party in the north of India in the 90s should not be followed in Tamil Nadu. Is will of the people. The 90% of Tamil Nadu is Hindus, and these are the same people who have voted for the DMK party. And again, I don't want one specific party or certain individuals to represent any religion or the country. No one has given them the mandate. Even BJP vote share is not more than 37% in any election. If you take national elections.
Right. Dharnidharan, but yeah, it is immaterial. Even I agree. That's immaterial. Dharnidharan, I want to ask you that we feel. You started this line by saying we feel. Legalese does not work according to feelings. It works according to proof. How are you going to prove it? Because you have someone like Satish who says, no, he doesn't agree with you. What is your standing in this?
Hello? No, I couldn't. Sorry, I lost you in the last 10 seconds.
What is your legal stand on this, Dharnidharan?
The stand is very simple. It is that the status quo, which was existing for the last 200 years, should continue. Otherwise, the law and order issue will happen. We believe it was a biased order, which is why thereby the impeachment process. Have we approached the Supreme Court? We have also reached the Supreme Court. The matter is sub judice in Supreme Court. We have requested for urgent hearing. Let's see what happens in the Supreme Court. We believe that justice would be given looking into the merits of the case.
Satish, go ahead, Satish. I have 2 minutes left. The merits of the case.
If at all, when in case as you have gone to the Supreme Court for an appeal, why you can't wait till the order is passed in Supreme Court? Why you are going for an impeachment proceedings? That shows it is also no. Even the two-member bench has passed an order. Two-member bench has passed an order. They upheld the order. If at all you are going for any impeachment,
so then why is the Article 217 and 124 there in the Constitution?
No, why you are targeting one particular judge? You have to wait till the Supreme Court passes an order in this matter. Maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow the order will be passed. Why? What is that? This is a divisive politics what DMK is playing for a long time. This is not new for Tamil Nadu, and DMK is quite popular on this divisive politics, turning the attention of people and saying that as if that the judge has passed an order which is totally unconstitutional. That's what they want to project to the people. But people of Tamil Nadu, they understood very clearly that the DMK is doing unnecessarily creating ruckus between the two religious sentiments. And the DMK is going to face the consequences because of this. Because if at all the land would have been laid, that matter would have been ended there itself. Why? Why it is unnecessary confusion? And if they have to wait till the Supreme Court passes an order in this matter. And this clearly a politics what they are playing. And I think DMK is going to face the consequences in this matter. And if the Supreme Court passes an order, will they go for an impeachment again on the Supreme Court judge? What is this? You have to wait till the Supreme Court passes an order in this matter.
30 seconds, Salem Dharnidharan, go for it.
It's very funny. The matter, if anything and everything is a possibility, right? So I think it's a preposterous argument to make what if. But anyway, the whole case was filed not by a public. It was filed by a member of a political party which is inclined or which is affiliated to the BJP party. That doesn't make the matter.
Okay.
Everyone has a right to file a case.
Yeah, right.
The politician of that.
All right. Let's wait for the order, and let's wait for the order, and we shall have a more detailed conversation. Until then, thank you both for joining us on this broadcast. Thank you indeed. And with that, it's a wrap of the South Indian. Thank you so much for watching.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.
इस सीजन में हम आपको सैर कराएंगे ईस्टर्न यूरोप की एक ब्यूटीफुल कंट्री बेलारूस में। Light, camera, and action. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite snack because News9 is here with your weekend dose of entertainment. It's time to take a deeper dive into the buzzworthy happenings of the entertainment world. From celebrity gossips to exclusive conversations, from nostalgic moments to News9's pick of the week, don't worry, we've got you covered here. And I hope you've grabbed your popcorn by now because News9's page 3 is here to serve you everything that we call entertainment. So do stay tuned every Saturday and Sunday, 2:30 p.m.
Why is West trying to fuel anti-Russia sentiments before Putin's visit? Why is India important in this narrative war? Which are the red lines for the Russia that the West has crossed? And what is the Indian role here? One of the biggest bilateral agendas of the President Vladimir Putin's state visit to India. Fighters are on the agenda, sources are saying.
It is about 17 Mach of the terminal velocity. No one can shoot it down.
Local production at HAL's Nashik facility that begins on December 4th is greater defense cooperation. Is it correct to say that the S-500 are a completely different ballgame? The Su-57 represents Russia's leap into 5th generation technology.
They always give us the contemporary technology.
Do you think that Zelensky really underestimated the Russian resolve? That Trump is not deeply invested in NATO? Do you think that if there's a peace deal, if something happens, if there's a breakthrough, what will be the future of NATO? Russians are always available to us in the context of the transfer of technology.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.
Good morning, you're watching News9. I'm Karthik Malhotra. The big story that we continue to follow right here on News9 is Indigo, and now latest input coming in from our reporters on the ground that Indigo CEO Peter Elbers is likely to face the inquiry committee by DGCA today. This comes a day after a 10% reduction in the winter flight schedule for the airline. But some passengers who are at airports are confirming that most of the flights are taking off again on time. So that's a big story that we continue to track right here on News9 as well as on the show this morning. Also on the show, 9:15 or so, we should get live visuals of Meesho's listing on NSE today. 10 a.m. is when the stock is expected to list. Is it going to live up to the GMP expectations of about 32% or not? We will get to know only after the stock finally hits the charts this morning. And of course, the latest update coming in on the Anil Ambani fraud case. His son Anmol Singh Ambani has now, Jai Anmol Ambani has now been issued a criminal notice by CBI. So that is another story that we are bringing to you on this edition of Morning Brief at 9. Thank you for staying tuned in. You are watching Morning Brief at 9 this Wednesday morning. These are the headlines that we're following for you. The centre orders Indigo to cut winter flight schedule by 10%. That's the big development that came yesterday after we heard that the government has also enforced fare cap and passenger convenience measures as the government cracks down on cancellations and delays by Indigo Airlines. Meanwhile, Indigo CEO Peter Elbers and top management are likely to appear before the inquiry committee initiated by DGCA today. Prime Minister Modi says rules should improve systems, not burden citizens, as centre vows strict action on Indigo amid 10 days almost of cancellations as well as refunds which seem to be sketchy. In other news, India aims to become a global leader in 6G patents and standards as Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia reviews the Bharat 6G mission progress. Indian exporters downplay US tariff threat on rice, say minimal impact expected as America forms under 1% of India's total rice exports. India opts a multi-pronged strategy to ease impact of US tariffs, pushes for trade pact with Washington and accelerates free trade agreement talks with EU, Peru, Chile, New Zealand and Oman while boosting support for exporters. Prime Minister Modi holds back-to-back meetings with Microsoft, Cognizant and Intel CEOs as India pushes AI, chip manufacturing and digital infrastructure growth. Microsoft announces a record $17.5 billion investment in India. Trade unions call for phased protests and announce nationwide general strike in February to demand withdrawal of labour codes as worker groups and farmers intensify mobilization against new labour laws. And the CBI registers the first criminal case against Jay Anmol Ambani, son of industrialist Anil Ambani, in Reliance Housing Finance fraud probe, alleging diversion of bank loans and 228 crore rupees loss flagged by Union Bank forensic audit. In a big development, Indigo CEO Peter Elbers and top management are likely to appear before the inquiry committee today. Remember, the centre has taken tough action on Indigo as the government ordered the airline to slash its winter flight schedule by 10%, marking a major escalation after the earlier 5% cut imposed by the DGCA over mass delays and cancellations. In a post on social media platform X, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu said the decision was necessary to stabilize airline operations and bring down cancellations that have left thousands, if not lakhs, of passengers stranded over the past 1 week. He said that the ministry believes trimming routes now will ease pressure on the system and keep all existing destinations covered just with fewer flights. Naidu also stressed that Indigo must follow every directive issued. That includes fare caps, so ticket prices don't surge due to fewer flights, and passenger convenience measures from on-ground assistance to timely handling of luggage. The government wants clear compliance and fast. Meanwhile, Indigo CEO Peter Elbers says the airline has already processed 100% refunds for passengers affected till 6th December and has been told to expedite pending refunds and baggage returns for those still waiting. CEO Peter Elbers was summoned yet again on Wednesday by the Aviation Ministry as disruptions, cancellations and refund concerns continue to dominate India's airline sector. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has addressed the ongoing Indigo crisis, stressing that government rules must exist to improve systems. At a meeting of NDA lawmakers, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju shared that the Prime Minister reminded leaders that governance should never become a burden for the very people it serves. He said rules and regulations are good, but they must not harass the public. This comes as the government prepares for a heated debate on electoral reforms, but airlines, especially Indigo, remain firmly in focus. Remember, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu had earlier said that the ministry will crack down on Indigo, even making an example of the carrier, which has already refunded over 830 crore rupees and seen a sharp slide in its market value as well. Passenger frustration has been rising amid flight delays and cancellations, many involving urgent travel from medical needs to family emergencies. The airline, which handles more than 60% of India's domestic aviation market, is struggling to recover from operational setbacks linked to new crew fatigue management norms. The government says it will not tolerate non-compliance and any future slip-ups will invite strict action. And moving on now, India is gearing up to play a leading role in the global race for 6G technologies. As Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia said, the country is progressing with confidence towards becoming a major force in defining global 6G patents and standards. Scindia chaired a meeting of the Apex Council under the Bharat 6G mission, where he reviewed the ongoing work of the Bharat 6G Alliance. He wrote on X that the mission is moving ahead with phase-wise goals, independent evaluations and continuous review, ensuring that the benefits of 6G reach every citizen across the nation. Then they added that effective collaboration between industries, startups and academia is key to India's push towards becoming not just a technology user but a technology creator. The meeting saw participation from top officials including Minister of State for Communication, Telecom Secretary Neeraj Mittal and representatives from ministries, telecom operators, R&D institutions and the Bharat 6G Alliance. Officials highlighted that the alliance has already released 8 technical reports covering key areas such as spectrum, AI native networks, green telecom, RF sensing and next generation applications.
What we're doing here is we're leapfrogging. We weren't there in 2G, we weren't there in 3G, we weren't there in 4G. We finally made it in 5G. And now we've made it to the club of 4G equipment makers. We'll be 4 in the world, we are the 5th. So we're leapfrogging. What you guys are doing in 6G is actually a leapfrog. And it's not a leapfrog for you guys in the industry alone. It's a leapfrog for India, and I dare say it's a leapfrog for the world.
All right, meanwhile, India's rice sector is dismissing concerns over a possible tariff hike from the United States. Exporters say even if Washington moves ahead with imposing additional duties, it won't shake the market. The India Rice Exporter Federation says exports to the US make up less than 3% of India's 6 million tons of basmati shipments and less than 1% of total rice exports. In simple terms, the American market is too small for India to cause any major disruption for Indian exporters. Federation President Prem Garg rejected allegations of dumping and said the US imports just about 2.7 lakh tons of rice from India annually, which is insignificant compared to India's global exports of rice. He added that even though US duties have climbed from 10% to 50% over the past 6 months, demand has not dipped. Industry voices say any further tariff hike will likely hurt US consumers more than exporters because Indian basmati and premium varieties are essential staples for Asian and Middle Eastern communities living in America. India supplies 40% of global rice exports, shipping to over 170 countries, with Gulf nations as long-time buyers and African markets growing fast. Even Russia, Brazil and Thailand are now turning to Indian basmati. Garg also said India has overtaken China as the world's largest rice producer and output could grow further next year.
Not dumping any rice in the United States market. All Indian exports are demand driven, and the demand for Indian rice is deeply rooted into the food habits of the ethnic communities from South Asian and the Gulf region. India in the past financial year has exported basmati rice worth $337 million, weighing about 270,000 metric tons, making the US the 5th largest market for Indian basmati rice in the world. Similarly, for non-basmati rice, we have supplied around $57 million worth of goods, weighing about 61,000 metric ton, making it the 24th largest market for Indian rice. Though the US market is a substantial market for Indian rice, but the Indian rice exports are very well diversified in the world. And one market does not define our trade, it does not define our demand.
Meanwhile, even as US Trade Representative, the Deputy US Trade Representative Rick Switzer visits India today for ongoing discussions on bilateral trade, the Indian government says it is actively working to soften the impact of US tariffs on Indian exports. In a written statement in the Lok Sabha, Minister of State for Commerce and Industry Jitin Prasada said a multi-pronged strategy is underway, including intensive talks with Washington to secure a mutually beneficial trade agreement. He added that the focus is not just on short-term relief, but also on strengthening India's trade resilience and diversifying export markets. The minister said measures such as RBI-backed trade support and the credit guarantee scheme for exporters are already being leveraged to support exporters. At the same time, India is pushing ahead with negotiations to close free trade agreements with the European Union, Peru, Chile, New Zealand and Oman. In a separate response on e-commerce policy, the minister highlighted the rise of agentic AI-powered shopping where intelligent digital assistants can personalize and automate the buying process. He said the government is taking steps to ensure small businesses, MSMEs and local traders are not left behind as online commerce evolves. And in yet another major push to strengthen India's position in the global tech arena, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday held a marathon round of high-level meetings with the CEOs of three global technology giants, Cognizant, Microsoft and Intel. The most significant announcement came from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, who unveiled a $17.5 billion investment, Microsoft's biggest commitment in Asia to date. Nadella called the discussions with the Prime Minister inspiring, saying Microsoft aims to support India's transition into an AI-first economy. The massive pledge is set to power India's AI growth story, from expanding cloud and supercomputing capacity to scaling AI skilling programs and building secure sovereign data systems. It's a boost that positions India as a future global hub for artificial intelligence. The Prime Minister also met Cognizant CEO Ravi Kumar S, who discussed scaling operations across India, especially at Chennai and Pune development hubs. The talks focused on job creation, digital engineering expansion and cloud capability enhancement, with Cognizant reiterating alignment with India's digital public infrastructure vision. Prime Minister Modi also met with Intel CEO Lip Bhutan, a key player for India's semiconductor ambitions. Discussions included strengthening Intel's R&D and chip design ecosystem in India and even the feasibility of setting up a semiconductor fabrication unit under the government's incentive-backed chip mission. In a major development, the CBI has filed a criminal case against Jay Anmol Ambani, son of industrialist Anil Ambani, in connection with an alleged banking fraud linked to Reliance Housing Finance Limited. This is the first time that a criminal case has been registered against Anil Ambani's son. The FIR also names the company and its former CEO Ravindra Sudhalkar and others, including unidentified public servants. The case comes as a result from a complaint by Union Bank of India, which claimed it suffered a loss of over 228 crore rupees due to alleged cheating, conspiracy and diversion of loan funds. Remember, between 2015 and 2019, the bank sanctioned loans worth 450 crore rupees and subscribed to 100 crore rupees in debentures after the company projected strong financials. However, investigators allege the money was diverted and siphoned off instead of being used for housing finance operations. A forensic audit by Grant Thornton found that nearly 86% of corporate loans, over 12,500 crore rupees, were routed to linked entities, many allegedly used to service debt within the group. The loan account turned NPA, or a non-performing asset, in 2019. It was later declared fraud in 2024 and subsequently reported to the Reserve Bank of India. The CBI has now begun formal investigations into what officials describe as large-scale fund diversion through circular transactions, questionable lending practices, and untraceable end use of money. And moving on now, India's trade unions are gearing up for a major showdown. A joint platform of central trade unions and sectoral federations has announced that they will launch a phased and sustained movement demanding the withdrawal of the labour codes. A nationwide general strike is being planned for February next year, with the exact date yet to be finalized. Now, unions say the new labour laws are anti-worker and claim widespread protests have already taken place across the country, even among non-unionized workers. The statement notes that large-scale demonstrations were seen on the 26th of November, supported by farmer groups like the Samyukta Kisan Morcha, which has been mobilizing in villages against both the seed bill and the labour codes. Trade unions allege that the government is pushing what they call false propaganda of benefits through ads and paid news, and warn that confusion is widespread in labour departments and in courts. The meeting also referred to the recent aviation crisis involving Indigo, calling it an example of corporate negligence and a reminder of the risks of privatization. As part of their plan, unions will intensify workplace-level actions, hold rallies, door-to-door campaigns and collaborate with farmers' groups and other platforms to build momentum for the strike. Unions have appealed to opposition parties, youth and students to extend their support in what they describe as a fight to protect workers' rights. And with that, we will slip into a very short commercial break. But when we come back, we'll bring you live visuals from NSE on Meesho's IPO that lists on the stock market today. Remember, the stock is expected to list at 10 a.m., but we should be getting live visuals immediately after this break. You're watching On Brief at 9.
Powered by Servo Hypersport F5 when speed is your default.
यार सोच रहा हूँ पॉलिसी बाजार से टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ले लेता हूँ ताकि मेरे बाद फैमिली को पैसों की कमी ना। तू भी ले ले।
यार अभी तो यंग है यार, बाद में देखते हैं। आजा।
पॉलिसी बाजार पर 0 GST के साथ अब 1 करोड़ का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 400 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपर्स एश्योरेंस। 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
Welcome to a cheese spread made with pure milk. For chilly evenings. For peppery sundowners. For garlic afternoons. For tikka picnics. Welcome to Amul cheese spread. Spread the richness.
I am really motivated to grow my career, learn new skills and prove myself.
अगले हफ्ते जॉब इंटरव्यू है, इंग्लिश में प्रैक्टिस करें?
Sure, let's try some.
I want good career, new skills, खुद को प्रूव करना है.
Great, you can try. I'm really motivated to grow my career, learn new skills, and prove myself. और हाँ, तुम ये भी बता सकती हो कि इस इंडस्ट्री और इस कंपनी को लेकर तुम क्यों एक्साइटेड हो.
Our very first Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025 on the 20th and 21st of December at Taj Talkutir, Kolkata.
AIADMK presents Bomber Lorry, Associate Sponsor. Mukhora Chowk, Associate Sponsor. Alliance Broadband, Associate Sponsor.
Why is West trying to fuel anti-Russia sentiments before Putin's visit? Why is India important in this narrative war? Which are the red lines for the Russia that the West has crossed? And what is the Indian role here? One of the biggest bilateral agendas of the President Vladimir Putin's state visit to India. Fighters are on the agenda, sources are saying.
It is about 17 Mach of the terminal velocity. No one can shut it down.
Local production at HAL's Nashik facility that begins on December 4th is greater defense cooperation. Is it correct to say that the S-500 are a completely different ballgame? The Su-57 represents Russia's leap into 5th generation technology.
They always give us the contemporary technology.
Do you think that Zelensky really underestimated the Russian resolve? That Trump is not deeply invested in NATO? Do you think that if there's a peace deal, if something happens, if there's a breakthrough, what will be the future of NATO? Russians are always available to us in the context of the transfer of technology.
back. You're watching News 9. This is Morning Brief at 9. Time now to move to all the action from the stock markets. First, let's begin with Wall Street. Well, Wall Street ended slightly lower on Tuesday as investors brace for a potentially hawkish Federal Reserve, even if it cuts rates this week. JP Morgan dragged the S&P 500 after warning of sharply higher expenses for 2026. Take a look.
Wall Street's main indexes ended mixed and somewhat muted on Tuesday, with the Dow dropping more than 0.33%, the S&P 500 edging slightly into the red, and the Nasdaq ticking up marginally. The Federal Reserve kicked off its two-day policy meeting on Tuesday, with traders widely expecting a 0.25 percentage point rate cut at its conclusion. While inflation hovers above the Fed's annual target of 2%, policymakers remain more concerned about the health of the labor market. But Andre Skiba, head of U.S. fixed income at RBC Global Asset Management, notes that recent data suggests the labor market may be relatively stable.
We also got actually some recent positive data points like the JOLTS number indicating an increase in the number of job openings in the US. And that is the reason why we're erring on the side of Federal Reserve cutting rates this time, however, with messaging that suggests that they might be done for a while and they want to assess incoming data early in 26 to determine whether another cut is necessary or not.
Stocks on the move Tuesday included JP Morgan Chase, which shed more than 4.5% for its biggest one-day percentage drop since April 4th. The bank said it expects expenses to climb to about $105 billion in 2026, driven largely by growth and volume-related costs. Shares of Campbell's shed more than 5% after the packaged food maker said it selectively raised prices to counter higher costs. And AutoZone's shares lost more than 7% after the retailer missed quarterly sales and profit estimates.
All right, and from Wall Street, let's shift focus to Dalal Street, and market seems to be in a completely flat tone this morning. It started with a little bit of flattish red tone to it and has since inched up just marginally in the green territory this morning. Let's pull up the Nifty 50 heat map and see which are the sectors which are leading the mood of the market this morning, if at all you can call it a mood, and it's pretty much a mixed bag. You're seeing the IT space a little bit dashing in green this morning. HCL Tech and Wipro are both in the positive territory, comfortably in the positive territory. Meanwhile, Reliance Industries as well as Coal India from the Nifty 50 energy pack looking in healthy territory, at least as far as trade in the first few minutes of market open pan out. Meanwhile, mixed signals coming from the banking side. HDFC Bank is up marginally. ICICI Bank is down marginally, just about 1/5 of a percentage point or so. You're seeing better gains coming in from Kotak Mahindra and Bajaj Finserv as far as this pack goes. Then moving on to the auto segment, well, this has been a territory which has seen a lot of profit booking over the last 2 or 3 trading sessions, but you're seeing a little bit of recovery this morning in Maruti Suzuki and a much better recovery in Mahindra and Mahindra stocks. M&M is up about 0.7% right now as we speak. In other heavyweights on the Nifty 50, Bharti Airtel is down about 0.5 percentage point. Sun Pharma down about 0.25 percentage point. No real signals, no real trend lines visible at the moment because the stress on the market or the upside on the market does not seem to be confirming to any one particular sectoral trend this morning. Let's pull up the charts to see what are the trading levels right now for the Nifty 50 and Sensex. Well, Sensex is squarely below that 85,800 mark, even about 10 minutes or so into market open, still at about 84,792 points or so. Nifty 50 a good 130 points away from that psychological 26,000 level. Volatility in the Indian market slightly higher than at this time yesterday, but well below the 11 mark. Not the best news exactly for traders, but well, who minds not some very steep volatility. Well, Gaurav Luthra, Senior Vice President, Geojit Financial Services, is here today to help us understand what is the directions that markets seem to be taken. Gaurav, thank you so much. Pleasure having you back on News 9 on the morning brief after a while. Just want to understand, yesterday, of course, was the Nifty 50 expiry, so the kind of cuts that we saw were understandable. But this morning, we aren't really seeing too much momentum. What is holding back investors at this moment?
Thank you so much, Karthik, for having me back again in this show. It's good to speak to you on your channel. A small regulatory disclosure that whatever recommendations that we are going to share this morning on your show are a part of our research team recommendations, fundamental side, long term. Our company, Geojit or I, we do not have any personal investments, no financial interest, no conflict of interest, but we share similar advice with our clients. They might have their investment interest. So I think markets, Karthik, it's good to see a lighter shade of green rather than a deep red. What we've been witnessing since the time we hit the new all-time high, I think the markets have given up the steam and the enthusiasm, and we are way below the all-time highs that we made of about 26,300 as marginally above that. A reason one to many, continuous relentless selling from the FIs, and of course, despite of the strong domestic data points that we had on the GDP, on the inflation, as well as a quarter basis cut, 25 basis point cut on the interest front, markets don't look so excited. I think markets are taking a breather, and historically, Karthik, whenever the markets have made a new all-time high, they go into a little bit of profit booking sideways, range-bound territory, make a strong base, and then try to move upwards. So I guess we should be ready to spend the rest of the year around these levels, marginally above these levels. And possibly next year could bring in some more cheer. 10th January onwards, we'll have the curtain raiser for the third quarter opening, earnings season. And of course, then we'll have the budget.
Absolutely. But Gaurav, I want to understand, is there any impact that the Indian markets are likely to witness towards end of the week or early next week, given the stance that the US Federal Reserve takes? Is that something, let's say it goes ahead and gives that much awaited rate cut to the US economy, is that something which is likely to impact the Indian markets one way or another?
So Karthik, I think largely 25 basis point cut, according to whatever my networking sources tell me, is priced into the market. And I don't think, I guess, I'm not too sure, but this is going to be one of the last policies that Mr. Powell is going to announce as Fed chair. Next year, early, as the president of United States of America has been vocal enough that he's going to find a new replacement. Don't know how things are going to shape up over there. But his commentary is something that everyone would be eager to listen into, Karthik, given the state of economy and affairs in the United States of America, the tariff-related inflationary pressures, if any, and of course, more importantly, it's going to be the data on the employment front, which will possibly be eagerly awaited. So I don't think there's going to be a major reaction to our markets or global markets on fallback of the Fed announcement.
All right. Gaurav, you also mentioned right at the start of the show that that your advice is fundamentally long-term in nature. So for the retail investor, which has pretty much held fort and held the markets from whatever catastrophe that could have happened with the FPS pulling out, for the retail investors looking at the long-term story at the end of 2025, getting into 2026, are there any sectors that you can pinpoint which should be on their radar, which they should focus on? Because it seems that the bellwethers of yesteryears, the IT services pack, for example, is not delivering, much returns for the long-term investor, at least this entire calendar year. Are there sectors on the horizon which you think investors should be watchful of as they enter 2026?
Sure, Karthik. So I think despite of the relentless FI/FPI selling, we managed to make a new all-time high, right? So that's the internal strength, inherent strength that we have in terms of the emerging market and one of the most fastest growing economy as far as the EM basket is concerned.
Right.
So yes, there are about 4 or 5 sectors that we have listed down, not with respect to any short term, medium term or budget outlook, because a lot of people have been asking me, what is your budget outlook and what does one look at? So budget is a very short term phenomena. It happens every year, Karthik, as we all know, but longish. I think in the entire BFSI segment, that is your private sector bank, public sector bank, strong NBFCs, defense, cap goods, engineering, capital market related stocks, autos, and the sector that you mentioned, which has been underperforming, but we are very optimistic, that is IT. And second quarter was a shade better than what the street estimated. So these are some 5 or 6 sectors one should look at.
All right, so BFSI, defense, auto, well, these seem to be some of the sectors that Gaurang Shah is bullish on. What about what we are seeing on, the buzz on IPOs? In fact, right now, let's cut across to Vidit Atre. Meesho is expected to list in just a few minutes or so from now. He's speaking live at NSE. Let's quickly listen in, Gaurang, to what Vidit Atre is saying before we come back and discuss the IPO story.
And I can go on and on and on. This team believed in things that no one else before them believed in. So this IPO is your victory. This listing is the compound interest of all your hard work. Thank you so much. I think today is a big day when we transition from being a private startup to now a public company. And that expands our responsibility in a big way. Until now, we answered to a few shareholders, private shareholders. Now we answer to all of you. We answer to that retail investor in a small town who bought our few shares because they believe in the future of Indian consumption, in the future of Bharat consumption. So I think as the management team of Meesho, on behalf of all of them, I want to take a pledge today. I want to tell all of them, we will operate with transparency. We will operate with governance, and most importantly, we'll operate with a long-term view.
All right, Gaurang Shah continues to be with us. Gaurang, interesting words coming, big words really, talking about governance, talking about transparency, and talking about India's booming consumption there. So Meesho IPO, GMP at about 47 rupees, that's about 32% or so gain, listing day gain expected, for investors who have been allotted those shares. But overall, there's also a concern that IPOs, a flurry of IPOs through November and December has pretty much sucked out a lot of cash from the market, which could have otherwise been invested back in listed entities. And that may have possibly given a fillip to stock markets. Is that a sort of realistic, justified theory?
I wouldn't say completely, but maybe marginally, Karthik.
Okay.
And look, even before this, we've had a history of IPOs hitting the market with larger, funds to be garnered from the IPO market. But even then, despite of that strong primary market, the secondary market has been able to survive.
Okay.
And it is not very, very long ago, Karthik, that we made a new lifetime high. So I don't think there is any dearth of liquidity in the market. One may put out a case maybe to marginally credit the IPO flurry. And this week, in fact, there is a flood of IPO and there is a lot of listing also of already the IPOs which have been concluded.
That's right.
So I don't think there is any liquidity dearth. Maybe, a little bit, like I mentioned, historically, every time the market has made a new all-time high, they go into a little bit of profit booking range-bound mode.
All right. I want to just stick to the Meesho IPO for a minute because this is another sort of pure play consumer facing brand. We've seen Grow, we've seen Lenskart, we've seen a lot of consumer facing brands really come on to the stock markets and have their stocks listed. Meesho pretty much seems to be one of the only pure play e-commerce companies in India which has gone ahead and listed itself, been willing to open its books to public scrutiny, and Vidit Atre there talking about transparency and governance issues. Now, Meesho as a bet, or India's e-commerce market as a bet, is this something that you at Geojit are bullish about, the India e-commerce story?
So first of all, Karthik, I think it's very pleasing to hear the kind of words that we just listened into in terms of corporate responsibility, ethics, and transparency. Yes, we had a subscribe recommendation for Meesho from a long-term point of view. And one of the things that I like the most about the IPO is there is no hidden cost, or there is no, unlike, your platform fees or your delivery fees or handling fees. I don't think Meesho has any of them. So that's a lot of transparency over there. And I think what the customer sees on the screen is the value he or she pays finally when he or she places the order. So I guess, yes, we have been positive of new age high-tech companies, but at the same time, in the same breath, Karthik, just to caution the viewers of your channel, don't rush into all the IPOs with huge expectation and listing gains. Some of them may disappoint you because every business, every management valuation differs.
Right. So for valuation specifically on Meesho, what would be the closest competitors, Gaurang, that you would recommend for people to watch out for those PEs? Would it be an Eternal and a Swiggy, or should they take cue from, let's say, the Amazons of the world listed globally?
So let Amazon come and get itself listed. We'll comment then. But yeah, from the other names that you mentioned, Eternal is something that we've been extremely positive. Other than that, Policy Bazaar, Paytm, Nikea, FNS e-commerce, that is. We remain positive on all these names, Karthik.
All right, Gaurang. Well, let us leave it at that. But thank you so much for all your time and your inputs this morning. Pleasure having you back here with us on News9 on Morning Brief at 9. Well, with that, we will slip into another short break. But before that, here are some of the other global headlines that we're tracking for you this morning. US President Donald Trump ramps up attack on America's oldest ally, slamming Europe's immigration stance and Ukraine policy as decaying and weak, deepening or already widening the transatlantic rift. Trump administration confirms the US Food and Drug Administration is conducting a broad investigation into deaths potentially linked to COVID-19 vaccines, a move likely to reignite political and scientific debate. US President Donald Trump pushes back against voter anger over living costs, claiming consumer prices are dropping tremendously despite data showing persistent inflation pressures. Canada launches a $1.2 billion program to lure top global scientists, targeting researchers seeking to leave the US over Trump policies and intensifying the North American brain gain battle. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is prepared to hold fresh elections if Western allies can guarantee security as diplomacy to end Russia's near 4-year war intensifies. Europe's central bank reportedly plans to simplify rules on capital buffers required of banks, pruning some of the complex regulation put in place after the global financial crisis. European Union launches formal investigation into whether Google's use of news publisher content and YouTube data to train its AI systems violates EU competition rules, sharply escalating regulatory pressure on big tech. French Parliament narrowly backs Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu's social security budget plan, helping him inch towards completing France's 2026 spending package by the end of the year. And Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the country is taking back control from big tech as new social media laws kick in, forcing platforms to remove users under 16 and marking the toughest youth online safety rules anywhere in the world. We'll get you these stories after a break. You're watching Morning Brief at 9.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा से लोन लेना एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक है।
हर स्वाद में बसा, हर दाद में बसा, ये मेरा चीज है।
50 सालों से जो बना इस देश की शान, वो है अमूल चीज।
25 लाख का हॉस्पिटल बिल है, कितने पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे?
पैसों की चिंता आप मत कीजिए पापा।
मैम, सर का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस क्लेम अप्रूव हो गया है।
आप
पॉलिसी बाजार।
पॉलिसी बाजार पर 0 GST के साथ अब 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
A resurgent India is racing towards the Viksit Bharat goal, braving global economic headwinds. Bulletproofing our economy from these uncertainties are Bharat's homegrown businesses. Powered by tech-led innovation, Indian entrepreneurs are truly scaling up, riding the next wave of disruption with AI and cloud to break into the big global league. TV9 Network in association with SAP presents Visionaries of Viksit Bharat, a series celebrating inspirational business leaders shaping tomorrow. Watch them take an iconic leap at Visionaries of Viksit Bharat conclaves. Exclusively on News9.
यही मौका है बिजनेस को बढ़ाने का, पर पैसा
अपनी सुपर पावर यूज करने का टाइम आ गया है।
आप टेंशन मत लीजिए, IIFL फाइनेंस से झटपट गोल्ड लोन लीजिए और बिजनेस आगे बढ़ाइए।
आपके जैसे सुपर हीरोज ऐसी छोटी मोटी प्रॉब्लम से थोड़ी ना रुकते हैं, इसीलिए लाइफ जब भी आगे बढ़ने का मौका दे तो अपनी सुपर पावर, अपना गोल्ड यूज करिए और IIFL फाइनेंस से गोल्ड लोन लीजिए।
IIFL फाइनेंस करता है सीधी बात।
Welcome back. You're watching News9. This is Morning Brief at 9. Let's shift our focus now to all that's happening around the world. Let's begin, as always, with the United States. US President Donald Trump has issued some of his sharpest criticism yet of Europe, calling the continent decaying and weak on immigration and on its handling of the Ukraine war. In an interview with the US Daily, this is what Trump said. Now, Trump took aim at European governments over the Russia-Ukraine conflict at a time when divisions are widening over a US-drafted peace plan. Many European leaders fear the proposal could pressure Kyiv into giving up territory seized by Russia since its full-scale invasion in 2022. Trump's remarks further strain relations between Washington and its closest allies as it comes just days after the US administration released a revised national security strategy that warned of so-called civilizational erasure. Civilizational erasure is what Trump called it in Europe to urge a tougher stance on migration. Now, the comments have deepened alarm across European capitals, with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and French President Emmanuel Macron raising eyebrows over the US President's latest remarks. US healthcare major CVS Health says its 2026 profit will beat Wall Street expectations, signaling progress in the company's turnaround strategy. The company on Tuesday also said it is offering a new artificial intelligence-driven platform that aims to bring its various services, including its health insurance, pharmacy, and healthcare delivery offerings, into one single app.
Shares of CVS rose as much as 5% Tuesday morning after the company said it expects its 2026 profit to rise and top Wall Street estimates. It also raised its 2025 profit outlook for the fourth time. CEO David Joyner said at the company's investor day that CVS has delivered on its promises this year and will now focus on improving consumer experiences across the business. He added, quote, "We've invested heavily in what I would believe is the challenge in the marketplace, which is a lack of trust." The upbeat outlook caps a year in which Joyner pushed through a sweeping overhaul, which involved cutting costs, exiting underperforming markets, and strengthening management to revive investor confidence. CVS shares have responded, with gains of more than 70% this year. CVS said in May that it plans to exit the market for Obamacare health insurance plans in 2026, as rising medical costs have pressured health insurers in recent quarters. The company expects its Aetna insurance business and CVS Caremark Pharmacy Benefit Management Unit to drive growth, as their profit margins are expected to return to target levels. Analysts at Leerink Partners said in a note that, quote, "CVS's near-term momentum should set the stage for what remains a robust growth recovery story."
And US President Donald Trump said late Sunday that Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky could choose to end the war with Russia almost immediately, but retaking Russian-occupied Crimea or joining NATO are off the table. Now, this comes as Zelensky agreed to hold fresh elections in the country and send a revised peace proposal to Washington to end the long-standing conflict with Russia.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky continued his shuttle diplomacy Tuesday with a visit to Rome to meet with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Zelensky says Ukraine and its European partners will soon be ready to present the U.S. with refined documents on a peace plan to end the war with Russia. Kyiv is under pressure from the White House to secure a quick peace, but is pushing back on a U.S.-backed plan proposed last month that is widely seen as favorable to Moscow. Ukrainian officials are also seeking strong security guarantees from partners in the event of a deal to prevent Russia from attacking again in the future. President Donald Trump's envoys have given Zelensky days to respond to a proposed peace agreement that would see Ukraine accept territorial losses in return for unspecified U.S. security guarantees. That's according to a report in the Financial Times on Tuesday. Zelensky said in a statement that new components of the deal hashed out with the British, French, and German leaders in London on Monday were more developed and ready for U.S. review. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said Ukraine must hand over its entire eastern Donbass region before Russia stops fighting, something which Zelensky has consistently rejected, while Trump said in an interview with Politico that Zelensky would have to get on the ball and start accepting things.
All right, in other news from Europe, the European Commission has launched an antitrust probe into whether Google is misusing online content from publishers and YouTube to train its AI systems. EU is probing whether Google might be distorting competition by imposing unfair terms and conditions on publishers and content creators, or by granting itself privileged access to their output. Take a look.
The European Commission has opened an antitrust probe to assess whether Google is breaching EU competition rules. That's in its use of online content from web publishers and YouTube for artificial intelligence purposes. The Commission announced the news on Tuesday. It said the investigation will examine whether Google is distorting competition by imposing unfair conditions on publishers and content creators, or by granting itself privileged access to such content and placing developers of rival AI models at a disadvantage. The Commission further said it was concerned Google may have used content from web publishers to generate AI-powered services on its search results pages. That's without appropriate compensation to publishers and without offering them the possibility to refuse such use of their content. The Commission added it's also looking at whether Google has used content uploaded to YouTube to train its own AI models, and without offering creators compensation or the possibility to refuse.
The European Central Bank is expected to propose simpler capital buffer rules for banks, responding to complaints that current regulations are overly complex and put EU lenders at a disadvantage to their US competitors. More details in this next report.
The European Central Bank will take a step towards simpler, not looser, bank rules this week. That's according to sources Tuesday. They said the ECB will pitch simplifying rules on the capital buffers banks should have to protect themselves from potential shocks. It would cut some of the complex regulation put in place after the global financial crisis. ECB Vice President Luis de Guindos is due to present the proposals Thursday. A spokesperson for the ECB declined to comment on Tuesday's report. The sources said the change would merge two key buffers that separate capital requirements set by national supervisors. The buffers were introduced by the EU as part of a post-crisis overhaul to stop another banking sector meltdown like that seen from 2007 to 2008. The shift is a more conservative approach than regulators in Britain and the US have taken recently. It may also disappoint bankers who hoped the EU might go further. Bankers complain the current rules are too complex and put them at a disadvantage to US peers, particularly at a time when Donald Trump's administration is leading a drive to deregulate. While last week the Bank of England cut its estimate of how much capital lenders need to hold, which was its first reduction since the crisis. It aims to boost credit and support growth.
And BMW has appointed Milan Devalkovic as its new CEO as the German automaker launches its next era of autonomous, ambitious models while battling fierce competition from China and high US tariffs imposed by Donald Trump. Milan has been a member of the board of management of BMW AG since 2019 and is currently responsible for the production division.
BMW has a new CEO. The German auto giant's supervisory board announced Tuesday Milan Nedeljkovic will take over from May next year. He'll replace current head Oliver Zipser, who will resign before Nedeljkovic takes charge. BMW said Nedeljkovic is 56 years old and currently head of production. It added he's worked with the carmaker for more than 30 years. BMW is gearing up to launch a new range of models in a competitive market. Nedeljkovic will head a carmaker fighting against tough competition from China and high US tariffs. Those challenges saw the luxury carmaker cut its earnings forecast for the year in October. It's also betting on the first model from the all-electric Neue Klasse series to drive growth next year.
Another German industry giant, ThyssenKrupp, expects to swing to a net loss of up to 800 million euros in 2026, blaming restructuring costs at its steel division. The unit is trying to sell to India's Jindal Steel International. Take a look.
ThyssenKrupp expects to swing to a net loss of up to $931 million next year. The German engineering giant blamed restructuring provisions at its steel unit, which it's trying to sell to India's Jindal Steel International. ThyssenKrupp has tried to divest the division for years, but efforts have collapsed mainly due to pension liabilities of $3.14 billion that are tied to the business. It said losses this year have been due to exposure to fierce Asian competition, US tariffs, and a generally weak European economy. The trend has impacted most of ThyssenKrupp's units. Investors didn't like what they heard on Tuesday, and shares dropped as much as 13% in early trade before scaling back. Adjusted operating profit is expected to be between $582 million to over $1.05 billion in 2026. That's below the $1.07 billion forecast in a company-provided poll.
And finally, from NVIDIA's booming China business to a new wave of futuristic robos, we take you through the tech moments that defined this week. Take a look.
From NVIDIA getting a Chinese bonus but with a price to eye-catching robots, this is Tech Weekly. NVIDIA can sell its second-best AI chips to China, but with a price. US President Donald Trump confirmed Washington will allow the sale of H200 processors, but collect a 25% fee on such sales. It's higher than the 15% levy suggested in August. The White House said it will be collected as an import tax from Taiwan, where the chips are made, before they undergo US security checks and head to China. Australia is on course to ban under-16s from using social media. It would make it the first country to bring in a minimum age for social media use, and could lead to fines of around $33 million if 10 of the biggest platforms, including Meta and TikTok, don't follow along. Major tech firms and free speech advocates have criticised the move, but parents and child advocates have praised it. China's land-space rocket failed to complete its reusable rocket test. The firm had hoped to become the third company after SpaceX and Blue Origin to successfully test a reusable spacecraft. State media said the Zhuzhe-3 rocket couldn't complete a controlled landing following an initial launch. The latest advances in robotic technology were on show in Japan at the International Robot Exhibition. Some were able to show their rescue capabilities during disasters, while others danced and served up drinks. Some, like Kawasaki Corporation's Kaleido 9 robots, could one day be used in disaster areas where human access is difficult. And India is reviewing a proposal about greater phone location surveillance. That's according to documents, emails and 5 sources. The pitch is from the telecom industry to force smartphone firms to enable satellite location tracking. Tech majors, including Apple, Google and Samsung, have all opposed the move due to privacy concerns.
And with that, we come to an end of this edition of Morning Brief at 9. If you have been, thank you so much for watching. But news continues right here on News9. So don't go anywhere and stay tuned.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा से लोन लेना एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक है।
Every brand tells a story. And they are the storytellers. The Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwalas.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every seam, every fold, is crafted with excellence. Its timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
Why is West trying to fuel anti-Russia sentiments before Putin's visit? Why is India important in this narrative war? Which are the red lines for the Russia that the West has crossed? And what is the Indian role here? One of the biggest bilateral agendas of the President Vladimir Putin's state visit to India. Fighters are on the agenda, sources are saying.
It is about 17 Mach of the terminal velocity. No one can shoot it down.
Local production at HAL's Nashik facility that begins on December 4th is greater defense cooperation. Is it correct to say that the S-500 are a completely different ballgame? The Su-57 represents Russia's leap into 5th generation technology.
They always give us the contemporary technology.
Do you think that Zelensky really underestimated the Russian resolve? That Trump is not deeply invested in NATO? Do you think that if there's a peace deal, if something happens, if there's a breakthrough, what will be the future of NATO? Russians are always available to us in the context of the transfer of technology.
इस सीजन में हम आपको सैर कराएंगे ईस्टर्न यूरोप की एक ब्यूटीफुल कंट्री बेलारूस में।
Ever wondered what makes the night come alive? Where flavors, lights and laughter dance in harmony. When the sun sets, stories rise of kitchens, cocktails and charisma. What makes your city's night so happening? Let's find out.
Good service, good food and a good location.
You need to explore, you need to experiment.
But they will never forget how they felt when they came to your restaurant.
Being a chef, it's my priority to deliver taste in a plate with good presentation, unique innovation.
My definition of mixology would be to get people drunk in a safe and a happy way. Don't drink on the job, that's for sure.
Mixology, you can play around with anything. You can create the stories, you can create the recipes.
Let's cheers on that note with our friendship.
Indulge in the finer things in life with Radico presents Lounge Nights. Discover the creme de la creme of India's culinary and nightlife scene. From trendy bars to exquisite restaurants, we've got you covered.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
First video emerges of Goa nightclub co-owner Ajay Gupta. Issues first statement, says he knows nothing about the case and claims he is only a partner. Luthra brothers move Delhi court seeking anticipatory bail in Goa nightclub Inferno case. Indigo CEO Peter Elbers and top management are likely to appear before the inquiry committee today. Crucial day for Tamil Nadu politics as AIADMK to hold General Council and Executive Committee meet today in Vanagaram near Chennai. In a major boost to India's tech ecosystem, Microsoft, Cognizant and Intel CEOs meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Microsoft commits 1.5 lakh crore rupees of investment in India, its highest in Asia. Big setback for Mehul Choksi as Belgium Supreme Court rejects Choksi's appeal against extradition order. In a major development, India is set to deploy homegrown integrated air defense system to protect Delhi NCR from enemy aerial threats like missiles, drones and fast-moving aircraft. A big update coming in as far as Goa's case is concerned. In a major development in the Goa nightclub fire tragedy, Ajay Gupta, one of the owners of the club where 25 people lost their lives, has now been detained by Goa police here in the national capital, Delhi. Ajay Gupta is the brother of Amit Gupta, a well-known North Delhi builder. Amit Gupta, in fact, was murdered by the Gogi gang in Burari 2 years ago. Ajay Gupta is one of the 4 owners of Birch By Romeo Lane. Earlier, the state police had issued a lookout circular against him and another owner, Surinder Kumar Khosla. The police have so far arrested 5 people in this case, including the nightclub's chief general manager, Rajiv Modak, general manager Vivek Singh and also others. There's a report by my colleague Puneet Sharma on the same. Let's take a look.
6 दिसंबर को गोवा के बिर्च बाय रोमियो लेन क्लब में आग में 25 लोगों की मौत हो गई और पुलिस लगातार इस पूरे मामले की जांच कर रही है। आज इस पूरे मामले में 6ठी गिरफ्तारी की गई है। अजय गुप्ता नाम के शख्स को गिरफ्तार किया गया जो क्लब में पार्टनर था और गिरफ्तार दिल्ली से किया गया है। दिल्ली के क्राइम ब्रांच के सनलाइट कॉलोनी के दफ्तर में इस वक्त इसी दफ्तर के अंदर अजय गुप्ता मौजूद है। दरअसल पुलिस लगातार अजय गुप्ता को ढूंढ रही थी, तलाश कर रही थी और उसके खिलाफ लुकआउट कॉर्नर नोटिस भी जारी किया गया था। गोवा पुलिस उसके दिल्ली के घर पर भी पहुंची लेकिन वो घर पर नहीं था, फरार था। जिसके बाद पुलिस ने उसको दिल्ली में ट्रेस किया तो पता चला कि साउथ ईस्ट दिल्ली के एक अस्पताल में वो भर्ती है। जिसके बाद पुलिस वहां पर पहुंची और इलाज के बाद उसको आज गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया है और इस वक्त इसी सनलाइट कॉलोनी दफ्तर के अंदर अजय गुप्ता से पूछताछ की जा रही है। जब हमने उससे बातचीत करने की कोशिश की तो अजय गुप्ता ने साफ कहा कि वो क्लब में सिर्फ पार्टनर है, इससे ज्यादा वो कुछ भी नहीं जानता। फिलहाल जो लूथरा ब्रदर्स हैं वो लोग थाईलैंड में ही हैं और पुलिस उनको भी गिरफ्तार करने की कोशिश कर रही है। उनके खिलाफ ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस भी इस वक्त जारी कर दिया गया है। इस पूरे मामले में अभी तक 25 लोगों की दुखद मृत्यु हो चुकी है लेकिन जो दूसरा क्लब था लूथरा ब्रदर्स का, उसके ऊपर प्रमोद सावंत सीएम ने बुलडोजर चलवाया। लगभग 200 मीटर का जो एरिया था उसको ढहा दिया गया है और अब तक इस पूरे मामले में मैनेजर सहित 6 लोगों की गिरफ्तारी की गई है। 6ठी गिरफ्तारी अजय गुप्ता की है। हालांकि जो उनके भाई हैं राजेश गुप्ता, पुलिस उनको भी गिरफ्तार करने के लिए कोशिश कर रही है और दोनों जो लूथरा ब्रदर्स हैं उनके खिलाफ भी ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस जारी कर दिया गया है।
So with regards to the latest update that we have received as far as Goa nightclub fire tragedy that claimed many lives is concerned, Ajay Gupta, one of the owners of this very club, has now been detained by Goa police in the national capital, Delhi. These are the visuals coming in of Ajay Gupta while he was being detained for further questioning into the matter. He is the brother of Amit Gupta, a well-known North Delhi builder. Remember, Amit Gupta was murdered by Gogi gang in Burari 2 years ago. Now Ajay Gupta, the man who has been detained, one of the owners, is one of the 4 owners in fact of this very club where there was this massive blaze that killed 25 people. Earlier, the state police had issued a lookout circular against him and another owner, Surinder Kumar Khosla, as well.
मैडम दरवाजा खोलिए तो एनओसी लीजिए
अजय गुप्ता यहाँ पर, अजय गुप्ता आपको पुलिस यहाँ पर लेकर आई है, जरा ये बताओ अजय गुप्ता, ये बताओ कि आप यहाँ पर आए हो। अजय
आप ये तस्वीरें देखेंगे। मैडम दरवाजा खोलिए तो एनओसी लीजिए
Police, remember, have arrested 5 people in the case as of now, including Nightclub's chief general manager Rajiv Modak, general manager Vivek Singh and also others. We got you an exclusive report straight from the ground by my colleague as well to explain you more about the developments in the case so far. But with regards to the latest developments, the breaking news is of the detention of one of the owners, Ajay Gupta. This is his picture. We are flashing it on your screens. He also said that he is unaware of the whereabouts of Luthra brothers when questioned about where exactly they are at the moment. On the right side of your screen, you are looking at the first visuals of Ajay Gupta being detained by the Goa police here in Delhi. A closer look at his picture on the left side of your screen. Reportedly, both the brothers, the Luthra brothers, have fled to Thailand. They were spotted at Thailand's Phuket airport last. Interpol has issued blue corner notice against nightclub owners Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra. And this was according to Goa Chief Minister's official statement. Remember, hours after a fire at the Birch By Romeo Lane nightclub in Arpora claimed 25 lives on Saturday night, the club's owners Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra fled India to Thailand's Phuket. They were last spotted there. They apparently reached Delhi's international airport at about 3 a.m. on Sunday, just 5 hours after that massive blaze broke out at their club, and boarded an Indigo flight to Phuket, where they landed at about 5:30 a.m., clearly indicating an intent to evade the investigation which will follow the fire. Now, following the request from Goa Police, the Bureau of Immigration issued a lookout notice against them. Ajay Gupta has now been detained. He is one of the owners, and he said that he has no clue about their whereabouts at the moment. And now, in a major development, according to the sources, Luthra brothers have applied for anticipatory bail in Rohini court to avoid their arrest. The investigation into the Goa nightclub Inferno case has now intensified, with the FIR squarely naming Gaurav Luthra and Saurabh Luthra as the main accused in the matter. According to the FIR, the owners, partners, manager, event organizer and staff members of Birch By Romeo Lane in Arpora staged a fire show without a single fire safety device being in place. No fire audit was also conducted. No precautions either were taken. And this negligence, the FIR says, triggered the inferno that killed 25 people, unfortunately, and left several tourists and employees with severe injuries to them. Investigators say the accused were fully aware of the risk, yet went ahead with the fire show. Shockingly, the club had no emergency exits on either on the ground floor or in fact on the deck. There was no safe escape route at all for those who were there in the club at that time. And the restaurant itself was also being run without mandatory permissions or licenses. In the aftermath of this tragedy, now the Goa government has moved into crisis response mode. A joint enforcement and monitoring committee has now been formed to crack down on fire safety violations across the state's tourism belt. This multi-department panel will inspect nightclubs, bars, restaurants, hotels, beach shacks and event venues. They will also check fire certificates, equipment, electrical safety, exits, evacuation routes, occupancy limits and also crowd control measures. This committee has been empowered to carry out random surprise checks and must file monthly compliance reports with district magistrates. Its chairperson has been vested with executive magistrate powers for strict enforcement. District level teams comprising police officers, fire officials, PWD engineers and electricity department staff have already been deployed across coastal regions. The order in fact comes into immediate effect, signalling the state's intent to prevent another disaster of this scale. Alright, shifting focus, it's a very crucial day for Tamil Nadu politics as the AIADMK hold its General Council and Executive Committee meetings today in Vanagaram near Chennai. With more than 2,000 members in attendance, including senior leaders, district secretaries, former ministers and special invitees, the gathering is expected to chart the party's roadmap for 2026's assembly elections. AIADMK General Secretary Edapadi K. Palaniswamy will preside over these proceedings. The leadership is expected to lay out the party's campaign strategy, discuss alliance equations and review seat-sharing frameworks, particularly with the BJP and the potential partners. The agenda also includes strengthening the organization, expanding the alliance footprint and building a narrative around the DMK government's performance. The meetings come at a very sensitive time following high-profile defections, including KS and Gotayan's shift to Vijay's TVK. Discussions may also be held on O. Paneerselvam, who has in fact been expelled from the party and has asked for a reunification. The expelled AIADMK leader had earlier announced that an important political decision will be taken by him on December 15th, depending on the outcome of today's meeting. EPS, on the other hand, is expected to use today's sessions to consolidate his authority and also showcase unity within the party. Lavish arrangements, in fact, have been made at the venue, with LED screens, dedicated dining areas and extensive crowd management plans being in place. Former ministers have also inspected the venue to ensure smooth logistics. With the 2026 elections only approaching soon, today's meeting is widely viewed as a defining moment for the AIADMK as it signals its preparedness, strategy and leadership direction for the political battle ahead. My colleague Thoya Jakshi Shekhar is joining us live on the broadcast. Thoya Jakshi, it's going to be an extremely crucial meet today. Kindly explain our viewers with regards to the roadmap ahead for AIADMK.
Well, yes, Sakshi, AIADMK is all set to hold its executive committee and general council meeting today. This meeting is led under the leadership of the standing executive committee chairman Tamil Magan Hussain and AIADMK General Secretary Edapadi K. Palaniswamy. Only members with the official invitation letters will be allowed inside this meeting hall. During this meeting, the party is expected to pass resolution criticizing the DMK government for poor law and order, crimes against women, drug issues, corruption complaints and unfulfillment promises which was made by the DMK government, while also urging the union government to release the pending GST funds, solve fishermen problems and approve the Coimbatore and Madurai metro projects. This meeting also authorized EPS to form a strong alliance for the upcoming 2026 elections in the state of Tamil Nadu. Discussions on sheet sharing with allies, including the BJP, expand the alliance and also review the election plans and also the works going on regarding the elections of 2026 polls, with more than 200 members attending and with political moves by OPS. Recently there was also a discussion that while OPS went and met Amit Shah, asking for a reunification into the party. So today the decision is going to be, made, and also OPS is going to announce his official decision on the December 15th in his meeting. When this meeting is, gaining more attention as EPS seeks to show unity and strengthen his leadership into the party, Sakshi.
Absolutely. Thoya Jakshi, let's also speak about the individual goals of EPS and OPS with regards to, this particular meet. What exactly are they aiming at? How crucial today's meet is going to be for each one of them?
Well, this is going to be a crucial decision that the party is going to take, ahead of 2026 polls, because we also see on one hand, after the veteran leader, the senior most leader of AIADMK, who was a former minister as well, K.S. Sengotian, after he went and joined TVK, last week. Now it is a major, twist, that the trio fiction, let it be OPS, Shasikala and TTV Dinakaran, they, if at all they come back to AIADMK, that is going to be a crucial decision which will EPS is going to make, ahead of upcoming 2026 polls. And this meeting is very crucial because, there are several decisions, that is going to be discussed in this meeting because let it be, bringing back OPS into the party or, maybe asking, them to whoever has expelled from the party, whoever has left the party and whoever has gone out of the party. It is also expected that EPS, would maybe ask them to give an apology letter and, come back and join the party. These kind of talks are also expected to happen in today's meeting. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of decision will EPS take on OPS rejoining the party, Sakshi.
All right, Toyajakshi, thank you so much for providing us all the key details with regards to the meet which is slated to happen today. It's going to be extremely crucial. We'll track all the updates coming from there. But right now, we are shifting focus in a major development in the probe into the Sabarimala gold scam. The special investigation team of the crime branch will record the statement of senior Congress leader Ramesh Chennithala. Now, the Haripad MLA is expected to reach the crime branch headquarters at around 11 a.m. to give a statement on allegations related to the involvement of an international antique smuggling racket in the gold theft at the Ayyappa temple. Chennithala had reportedly sent a letter to the SIT alleging that the gold panels looted from the Sabarimala temple were handed over to middlemen of antique smugglers. On Saturday, he told the media that he holds evidence to prove his allegations and expressed his willingness to give a statement before the SIT as well. He had alleged that those involved in the Sabarimala gold scam entered into a deal worth 500 crore rupees. Following this, the SIT issued a notice asking him to appear for further interrogation. Moving on, the Thiruvananthapuram Sessions Court will pronounce its order today on the anticipatory bail plea filed by Palakkad MLA Rahul Mamutil in the rape case registered by the crime branch. The court had reserved its verdict earlier this week and directed that no coercive action be taken against the MLA until the order is delivered, giving him temporary protection from the arrest. The case was registered based on a complaint filed by a 23-year-old woman who alleged that Rahul raped her after promising marriage. The complaint was first emailed to KPCC President Sunny Joseph, who forwarded it to the State Police Chief, prompting the FIR. According to the FIR, Rahul allegedly contacted the survivor via telegram in 2023 and later took her to a secluded homestay with the help of his friend Feni Ninan, who drove the car. There he is accused of raping her despite resistance and causing injuries. Rahul has been booked under Section 376 of the IPC. The probe is led by Deputy SP Sanjeev K of the crime branch. Moving on, the Karnataka High Court has withdrawn its stay on the state's new menstrual leave policy, and the matter will now return for a detailed hearing today. Earlier yesterday, the court had put the notification on hold after the Bangalore Hotels Association challenged the move, arguing that there's no statutory provision allowing the government to mandate paid menstrual leave. But Advocate General requested the court to reconsider, and Justice Jyoti M recalled the interim order clearing the way for arguments to resume. Karnataka recently became the first state to roll out a formal menstrual leave framework requiring one paid leave a month for women employees. A move many have welcomed, though industry bodies have raised compliance concerns. Now, with the stay lifted, all eyes are going to be on today's hearing, where the future of this landmark policy could take further shape. And ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time on Indian television, News9 brings you an exclusive journey to the sacred land of Galwan, the ground where India's brave soldiers stood firm against Chinese aggression on 15th June 2020. Our team reached the high-altitude valley and captured rare visuals of the Galwan War Memorial, recently dedicated to the nation. This is a story of unmatched courage, sacrifice and national pride, a tribute to the heroes who wrote history with their valor. This is a special report. Take a look.
LAC पर दुश्मन के सीने पर सांप लौटाने वाली यानी कि दुश्मन को चौंकाने वाली तस्वीर आज हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। यहाँ ठीक मेरे पीछे आप देख सकते हैं, ये शोक टनल है। शोक टनल जो कि BRO ने बनाई है। हिमांक प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर ही इस शोक टनल का निर्माण किया गया है और शोक टनल अपने आप में बहुत ही ज्यादा स्ट्रैटेजिक और इम्पोर्टेंस रखती है। हाल ही में रक्षा मंत्री राजनाथ सिंह ने करीब 125 परियोजनाओं के साथ साथ इस शोक टनल का भी उद्घाटन किया था और इसकी जो लोकेशन है ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। ये इसलिए हम बता रहे हैं आपको क्योंकि जहां पर ये बनी है ये अपने आप में बहुत ज्यादा सामरिक है और बहुत ही ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है। आपको मैं दिखाती हूँ, यहाँ से आप शोक टनल आपको दिखाई दे रही है और इसके ठीक पीछे वहां पर जो आपको रेंजेस दिखाई दे रहे हैं, जो फीचर्स दिखाई दे रहे हैं, बेसिकली वो जो फीचर्स हैं वो काराकोरम के फीचर्स हैं, यानी काराकोरम पास यहाँ से नजर आता है, उसके पहाड़ नजर आते हैं। और यहीं से अगर हम आगे बढ़ते हैं तो इस शोक टनल को जब हम आगे क्रॉस करते हुए जाते हैं तो यही रास्ता दौलत बेग ओल्डी की ओर ले जाता है। दौलत बेग ओल्डी जो है DBO, जिसे DBO भी कहा जाता है, वहां पर हमारी भारतीय वायुसेना के लिए एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट एयर स्ट्रिप जो है जिसका निर्माण जो है वो BRO कर रही है। इस वक्त वहां पर -30 से ज्यादा तापमान है। अभी जहां हम खड़े हुए हैं यहाँ पर -20 डिग्री तापमान है और बहुत ज्यादा सर्दी है। यहाँ पर बिल्कुल गलाने वाली सर्दी है। और अगर हम DBO की बात करें तो वहां पर -30 से भी ज्यादा तापमान है, यानी कि बर्फ की कई फीट लेयर जो है वो वहां पर सड़कों पर अभी हो गई है, यानी कि जो बर्फ है, बर्फ की चादर से सड़कें जो है वो वहां पर धंस गई हैं। तो वो स्थिति है। लेकिन खास बात यह है कि शोक टनल जो बनाई गई है ये बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि यहीं से अक्साई चीन जो है, जहां पर पाकिस्तान के कब्जे में जो अक्साई चीन है, जहां पर वो अपने मिलिट्री एस्टेब्लिशमेंट कर रहा है बीते कई सालों में लगातार, वहां से ये बेहद नजदीक है।
Moving on, India is preparing a major security upgrade for the national capital. The government is now moving to deploy a fully indigenous integrated air defense weapon system to protect Delhi NCR from hostile aerial threats, from missiles and drones to fast-moving fighter aircrafts. This new multi-layered shield will be built around homegrown technology, including the quick reaction surface-to-air missile system and very short-range air defense missiles supported by advanced surveillance and command control networks. This comes months after Pakistan allegedly attempted targeting India during Operation Sindoor. Crucially, this move marks a shift away from the earlier plan to buy the American NASAMS-2 system, reportedly shelved due to high cost. The project will now be driven by DRDO and Indian Air Force, with QRSAM, MRSAM and the upcoming long-range SAM under Project Kusha. India is steadily building a homegrown missile defense wall as it also awaits remaining S-400 units and studies the S-500 proposal. A big leap towards self-reliant air defense and a stronger sky over the national capital. Let's take a look at what's happening in the neighborhood. Tensions escalated outside Rawalpindi's Adila jail as family members of the former Pakistani Prime Minister and PTI founder Imran Khan staged a sit-in protest alleging mistreatment and illegal isolation inside the prison. These are the visuals coming in straight from Rawalpindi on your screens. Three sisters of Imran Khan on road as they take out their protest. His sisters Alima Khan and Uzma Khan joined PTI workers in voicing serious concerns over his health, security and lack of access despite a court's order permitting visits twice a week. Alima Khan, addressing supporters, said the family has been coming every Tuesday for 8 months but has repeatedly been denied meetings with Imran Khan. She accused the authorities of keeping him in unlawful solitary confinement and subjecting him to psychological pressure.
छह महीने 8 महीने से आ रहे हैं। हम ट्यूसडे को यहाँ बैठ जाते हैं जब तक हमें किसी को इजाजत नहीं मिलती मुलाकात करने की। तो इमरान खान को ये टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं, इलीगल आइसोलेशन में किया हुआ है। ये इमरान खान का टॉर्चर खत्म करेंगे। ये टॉर्चर है जो इमरान खान के साथ कर रहे हैं, ये उसको तोड़ना चाहते हैं।
The protests intensified as senior PTI leaders including Salman Akram Raja and Junaid Akbar Khan arrived at the site, signaling the party's growing frustration. This comes weeks after Osma Khanum was allowed a rare 20-minute meeting during which she claimed her brother appeared physically stable but was facing severe psychological pressure. Her allegation that Pakistan's army chief was responsible for mental torture prompted a sharp rebuttal from the military, deepening the war of words. The government has since barred Uzma and others from future visits, accusing them of violating prison rules by engaging in political discussions. With restricted access and conflicting claims, the concerns over Imran Khan's treatment in custody continue to mount further. These are the visuals coming in straight from Rawalpindi. As the sisters and PTI workers, PTI supporters are still waiting to catch some sort of update on Imran Khan's health. They've been trying to catch a glimpse of him. Despite of the order of visiting him, their access to Imran Khan has been restricted. Shifting focus, talks between India and the United States are gaining momentum. Deputy US Trade Representative Rick Switzer is all set to visit India today for a visit. The visit comes as New Delhi seeks to ease the punitive US tariffs imposed on Indian goods following its purchase of Russian oil. The visit comes in the backdrop of Donald Trump's hinting fresh tariff on Indian rice exports now. Addressing to the media, Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randir Jaiswal said that this visit is a familiarization visit as well as to meet with senior officials in the government of India. Jaiswal said both the governments remain engaged with the objective of concluding a fair, balanced and mutually beneficial multi-sectoral financial trade agreement, adding that several rounds of discussions between the two sides have already taken place. And with that, it's a wrap from my side as of now. Do stay tuned to News9. Big news and developments will be followed up here on the other side.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा से लोन लेना एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक है.
Speed, it's relative. The more you speed up, the more the world slows down. And when you are fast enough, everything becomes still. That's when you see the world as it truly is. Servo Hypersport F5, when speed is your default.
पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपस अश्योरेंस. 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे. रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर.
हर स्वाद में बसा, हर दाद में बसा, ये मेरा चीज है.
50 सालों से जो बना इस देश की शान, वो है अमूल चीज.
I am really motivated to grow my career, learn new skills and prove myself.
अगले हफ्ते जॉब इंटरव्यू है. इंग्लिश में प्रैक्टिस करें?
Sure, let's try some.
I want good career, new skills. खुद को प्रूव करना है.
Great, you can try. I'm really motivated to grow my career, learn new skills and prove myself. और हाँ, तुम ये भी बता सकती हो कि इस इंडस्ट्री और इस कंपनी को लेकर तुम क्यों excited हो.
Our very first Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025 on the 20th and 21st of December at Taj Talkutir, Kolkata.
AIADMK presents Bomber Lorry, Associate Sponsor. Mukhara Chowk, Associate Sponsor. Alliance Broadband, Associate Sponsor.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.
A big update coming in as far as Goa's case is concerned. In a major development in the Goa nightclub fire tragedy, Ajay Gupta, one of the owners of the club where 25 people lost their lives, has now been detained by Goa police here in the national capital, Delhi. Ajay Gupta is the brother of Amit Gupta, a well-known North Delhi builder. Amit Gupta, in fact, was murdered by the Gogi gang in Burari 2 years ago. Ajay Gupta is one of the 4 owners of Birch By Romeo Lane. Earlier, the state police had issued a lookout circular against him and another owner, Surinder Kumar Khosla. The police have so far arrested 5 people in this case, including the nightclub's chief general manager, Rajiv Modak, general manager Vivek Singh, and also others. There's a report by my colleague Puneet Sharma on the same. Let's take a look.
मैडम दरवाजा खोलिए तो
6 दिसंबर को गोवा के बिर्च बाय रोमियो लेन क्लब में आग में 25 लोगों की मौत हो गई और पुलिस लगातार इस पूरे मामले की जांच कर रही है। आज इस पूरे मामले में छठी गिरफ्तारी की गई है। अजय गुप्ता नाम के शख्स को गिरफ्तार किया गया जो क्लब में पार्टनर था और गिरफ्तार दिल्ली से किया गया है। दिल्ली के क्राइम ब्रांच के सनलाइट कॉलोनी के दफ्तर में इस वक्त इसी दफ्तर के अंदर अजय गुप्ता मौजूद है। दरअसल पुलिस लगातार अजय गुप्ता को ढूंढ रही थी, तलाश कर रही थी और उसके खिलाफ लुकआउट कॉर्नर नोटिस भी जारी किया गया था। गोवा पुलिस उसके दिल्ली के घर पर भी पहुंची लेकिन वो घर पर नहीं था, फरार था। जिसके बाद पुलिस ने उसको दिल्ली में ट्रेस किया तो पता चला कि साउथ ईस्ट दिल्ली के एक अस्पताल में वो भर्ती है। जिसके बाद पुलिस वहां पर पहुंची और इलाज के बाद उसको आज गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया है और इस वक्त इसी सनलाइट कॉलोनी दफ्तर के अंदर अजय गुप्ता से पूछताछ की जा रही है। जब हमने उससे बातचीत करने की कोशिश की तो अजय गुप्ता ने साफ कहा कि वो क्लब में सिर्फ पार्टनर है, इससे ज्यादा वो कुछ भी नहीं जानता। फिलहाल जो लूथरा ब्रदर्स हैं वो लोग थाईलैंड में ही हैं और पुलिस उनको भी गिरफ्तार करने की कोशिश कर रही है। उनके खिलाफ ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस भी इस वक्त जारी कर दिया गया है। इस पूरे मामले में अभी तक 25 लोगों की दुखद मृत्यु हो चुकी है लेकिन जो दूसरा क्लब था लूथरा ब्रदर्स का, उसके ऊपर प्रमोद सावंत सीएम ने बुलडोजर चलवाया। लगभग 200 मीटर का जो एरिया था उसको ढहा दिया गया है और अब तक इस पूरे मामले में मैनेजर सहित 6 लोगों की गिरफ्तारी की गई है। छठी गिरफ्तारी अजय गुप्ता की है। हालांकि जो उनके भाई हैं राजेश गुप्ता, पुलिस उनको भी गिरफ्तार करने के लिए कोशिश कर रही है और दोनों जो लूथरा ब्रदर्स हैं उनके खिलाफ भी ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस जारी कर दिया गया है।
So with regards to the latest update that we have received as far as Goa nightclub fire tragedy that claimed many lives is concerned, Ajay Gupta, one of the owners of this very club, has now been detained by Goa police in the national capital, Delhi. These are the visuals coming in of Ajay Gupta while he was being detained for further questioning into the matter. He is the brother of Amit Gupta, a well-known North Delhi builder. Remember, Amit Gupta was murdered by Gogi gang in Burari 2 years ago. Now Ajay Gupta, the man who has been detained, one of the owners, is one of the 4 owners in fact of this very club where there was this massive blaze that killed 25 people. Earlier, the state police had issued a lookout circular against him and another owner, Surinder Kumar Khosla, as well.
मैडम दरवाजा खोलिए तो एनओसी लीजिए
अजय गुप्ता यहाँ पर, अजय गुप्ता आपको पुलिस यहाँ पर लेकर आई है, जरा ये बताओ अजय गुप्ता, ये बताओ कि आप यहाँ पर आए हो। अजय आप ये तस्वीरें देखेंगे,
पार्टनर हूँ, मुझे इसके बारे में मैडम दरवाजा खोलिए तो एनओसी लीजिए।
Police, remember, have arrested 5 people in the case as of now, including Nightclub's chief general manager Rajiv Modak, general manager Vivek Singh, and also others. We got you an exclusive report straight from the ground by my colleague as well to explain you more about the developments in the case so far. But with regards to the latest developments, the breaking news is of the detention of one of the owners, Ajay Gupta. This is his picture. We are flashing it on your screens. He also said that he is unaware of the whereabouts of Luthra brothers when questioned about where exactly they are at the moment. On the right side of your screen, you are looking at the first visuals of Ajay Gupta being detained by the Goa police here in Delhi. A closer look at his picture on the left side of your screen. Reportedly, both the brothers, the Luthra brothers, have fled to Thailand. They were spotted at Thailand's Phuket airport last. Interpol has issued blue corner notice against nightclub owners Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra. And this was according to Goa Chief Minister's official statement. Remember, hours after a fire at the Birch By Romeo Lane nightclub in Arpora claimed 25 lives on Saturday night, the club's owners Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra fled India to Thailand's Phuket. They were last spotted there. They apparently reached Delhi's international airport at about 3 a.m. on Sunday, just 5 hours after that massive blaze broke out at their club, and boarded an Indigo flight to Phuket, where they landed at about 5:30 a.m., clearly indicating an intent to evade the investigation which will follow the fire. Now, following the request from Goa Police, the Bureau of Immigration issued a lookout notice against them. Ajay Gupta has now been detained. He is one of the owners, and he said that he has no clue about their whereabouts at the moment. And now, in a major development, according to the sources, Luthra brothers have applied for anticipatory bail in Rohini Court to avoid their arrest. The investigation into the Goa nightclub Inferno case has now intensified, with the FIR squarely naming Gaurav Luthra and Saurabh Luthra as the main accused in the matter. According to the FIR, the owners, partners, manager, event organizer and staff members of Birch By Romeo Lane in Arpora staged a fire show without a single fire safety device being in place. No fire audit was also conducted. No precautions either were taken. And this negligence, the FIR says, triggered the inferno that killed 25 people, unfortunately, and left several tourists and employees with severe injuries to them. Investigators say the accused were fully aware of the risk, yet went ahead with the fire show. Shockingly, the club had no emergency exits on either on the ground floor or in fact on the deck. There was no safe escape route at all for those who were there in the club at that time. And the restaurant itself was also being run without mandatory permissions or licenses. In the aftermath of this tragedy, now the Goa government has moved into crisis response mode. A joint enforcement and monitoring committee has now been formed to crack down on fire safety violations across the state's tourism belt. This multi-department panel will inspect nightclubs, bars, restaurants, hotels, beach shacks and event venues. They will also check fire certificates, equipment, electrical safety, exits, evacuation routes, occupancy limits and also crowd control measures. This committee has been empowered to carry out random surprise checks and must file monthly compliance reports with district magistrates. Its chairperson has been vested with executive magistrate powers for strict enforcement. District level teams comprising police officers, fire officials, PWD engineers and electricity department staff have already been deployed across coastal regions. The order in fact comes into immediate effect, signalling the state's intent to prevent another disaster of this scale. Alright, shifting focus, it's a very crucial day for Tamil Nadu politics as the AIADMK hold its General Council and Executive Committee meetings today in Vanagaram near Chennai, with more than 2,000 members in attendance, including senior leaders, district secretaries, former ministers and special invitees. The gathering is expected to chart the party's roadmap for 2026's assembly elections. AIADMK General Secretary Edapadi K. Palaniswamy will preside over these proceedings. The leadership is expected to lay out the party's campaign strategy, discuss alliance equations and review seat-sharing frameworks, particularly with the BJP and the potential partners. The agenda also includes strengthening the organization, expanding the alliance footprint, and building a narrative around the DMK government's performance. The meetings come at a very sensitive time following high-profile defections, including K.S. Ngutayan's shift to Vijay's TVK. Discussions may also be held on O. Paneerselvam, who has in fact been expelled from the party and has asked for a reunification. The expelled AIADMK leader had earlier announced that an important political decision will be taken by him on December 15th, depending on the outcome of today's meeting. EPS, on the other hand, is expected to use today's sessions to consolidate his authority and also showcase unity within the party. Lavish arrangements, in fact, have been made at the venue, with LED screens, dedicated dining areas and extensive crowd management plans being in place. Former ministers have also inspected the venue to ensure smooth logistics. With the 2026 elections only approaching soon, today's meeting is widely viewed as a defining moment for the AIADMK as it signals its preparedness, strategy and leadership direction for the political battle ahead. My colleague Thoya Jakshi is joining us live on the broadcast. Thoya Jakshi, it's going to be an extremely crucial meet today. Kindly explain our viewers with regards to the roadmap ahead for AIADMK.
Well, yes, Sakshi, AIADMK is all set to hold its executive committee and general council meeting today. This meeting is led under the leadership of the standing executive committee chairman Tamil Magan Hussain and AIADMK General Secretary Edapadi K. Palaniswamy. Only members with the official invitation letters will be allowed inside this meeting hall. During this meeting, the party is expected to pass resolution criticizing the DMK government for poor law and order, crimes against women, drug issues, corruption complaints and unfulfillment promises which was made by the DMK government, while also urging the union government to release the pending GST funds, solve fishermen problems and approve the Coimbatore and Madurai metro projects. This meeting also authorized EPS to form a strong alliance for the upcoming 2026 elections in the state of Tamil Nadu. Discussions on sheet sharing with allies, including the BJP, expand the alliance and also review the election plans and also the works going on regarding the elections of 2026 polls, with more than 200 members attending and with political moves by OPS. Recently there was also a discussion that while OPS went and met Amit Shah, asking for a reunification into the party. So today the decision is going to be, made, and also OPS is going to announce his official decision on the December 15th in his meeting. When this meeting is, gaining more attention as EPS seeks to show unity and strengthen his leadership into the party, Sakshi.
Absolutely. Actually, let's also speak about the individual goals of EPS and OPS with regards to, this particular meet. What exactly are they aiming at? How crucial today's meet is going to be for each one of them?
Well, this is going to be a crucial decision that the party is going to take, ahead of 2026 polls, because we also see on one hand, after the veteran leader, the senior most leader of AIADMK, who was a former minister as well, K.S. Ngutayan, after he went and joined TVK, last week. Now it is a major, twist, that the trio fiction, let it be OPS, Shasikala and TTV Dinakaran, they, if at all they come back to AIADMK, that is going to be a crucial decision which EPS is going to make, ahead of upcoming 2026 polls. And this meeting is very crucial because, there are several decisions, that is going to be discussed in this meeting, because let it be, bringing back OPS into the party, or, maybe asking, them to whoever has expelled from the party, whoever has left the party and whoever has gone out of the party. It is also expected that EPS, would maybe ask them to give an apology letter and, come back and join the party. These kind of talks are also expected to happen in today's meeting. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of decision will EPS take on OPS rejoining the party, Sakshi.
All right, Toyajakshi, thank you so much for providing us all the key details with regards to the meet which is slated to happen today. It's going to be extremely crucial. We'll track all the updates coming from there. But right now, we are shifting focus in a major development in the probe into the Sabarimala gold scam. The special investigation team of the crime branch will record the statement of senior Congress leader Ramesh Chennithala. Now, the Haripad MLA is expected to reach the crime branch headquarters at around 11 a.m. to give his statement on allegations related to the involvement of an international antique smuggling racket in the gold theft at the Ayyappa temple. Chennithala had reportedly sent a letter to the SIT alleging that the gold panels looted from the Sabarimala temple were handed over to middlemen of antique smugglers. On Saturday, he told the media that he holds evidence to prove his allegations and expressed his willingness to give a statement before the SIT as well. He had alleged that those involved in the Sabarimala gold scam entered into a deal worth 500 crore rupees. Following this, the SIT issued a notice asking him to appear for further interrogation. Moving on, the Thiruvananthapuram Sessions Court will pronounce its order today on the anticipatory bail plea filed by Palakkad MLA Rahul Mamutil in the rape case registered by the crime branch. The court had reserved its verdict earlier this week and directed that no coercive action be taken against the MLA until the order is delivered, giving him temporary protection from the arrest. The case was registered based on a complaint filed by a 23-year-old woman who alleged that Rahul raped her after promising marriage. The complaint was first emailed to KPCC President Sunny Joseph, who forwarded it to the State Police Chief, prompting the FIR. According to the FIR, Rahul allegedly contacted the survivor via telegram in 2023 and later took her to a secluded homestay with the help of his friend Feni Ninan, who drove the car. There he is accused of raping her despite resistance and causing injuries. Rahul has been booked under Section 376 of the IPC. The probe is led by Deputy SP Sanjeev K of the crime branch. Moving on, the Karnataka High Court has withdrawn its stay on the state's new menstrual leave policy, and the matter will now return for a detailed hearing today. Earlier yesterday, the court had put the notification on hold after the Bangalore Hotels Association challenged the move, arguing that there is no statutory provision allowing the government to mandate paid menstrual leave. But Advocate General requested the court to reconsider, and Justice Jyoti M recalled the interim order clearing the way for arguments to resume. Karnataka recently became the first state to roll out a formal menstrual leave framework requiring one paid leave a month for women employees. A move many have welcomed, though industry bodies have raised compliance concerns. Now, with the stay lifted, all eyes are going to be on today's hearing, where the future of this landmark policy could take further shape. And ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time on Indian television, News9 brings you an exclusive journey to the sacred land of Galwan, the ground where India's brave soldiers stood firm against Chinese aggression on 15th June 2020. Our team reached the high-altitude valley and captured rare visuals of the Galwan War Memorial, recently dedicated to the nation. This is a story of unmatched courage, sacrifice and national pride, a tribute to the heroes who wrote history with their valor. This is a special report. Take a look.
LAC पर दुश्मन के सीने पर सांप लौटाने वाली यानी कि दुश्मन को चौंकाने वाली तस्वीर आज हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। यहाँ ठीक मेरे पीछे आप देख सकते हैं, ये शोक टनल है। शोक टनल जो कि बीआरओ ने बनाई है। हिमांक प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर ही इस शोक टनल का निर्माण किया गया है और शोक टनल अपने आप में बहुत ही ज्यादा स्ट्रैटेजिक और इम्पोर्टेंस रखती है। हाल ही में रक्षा मंत्री राजनाथ सिंह ने करीब 125 परियोजनाओं के साथ साथ इस शोक टनल का भी उद्घाटन किया था और इसकी जो लोकेशन है ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। ये इसलिए हम बता रहे हैं आपको क्योंकि जहां पर ये बनी है ये अपने आप में बहुत ज्यादा सामरिक है और बहुत ही ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है। आपको मैं दिखाती हूँ, यहाँ से आप अशोक टनल आपको दिखाई दे रही है और इसके ठीक पीछे वहां पर जो आपको रेंजेस दिखाई दे रहे हैं, जो फीचर्स दिखाई दे रहे हैं, बेसिकली वो जो फीचर्स हैं वो काराकोरम के फीचर्स हैं, यानी काराकोरम पास यहाँ से नजर आता है, उसके पहाड़ नजर आते हैं। और यहीं से अगर हम आगे बढ़ते हैं तो इस अशोक टनल को जब हम आगे क्रॉस करते हुए जाते हैं तो यही रास्ता दौलत बेग ओल्डी की ओर ले जाता है। दौलत बेग ओल्डी जो है डीबीओ, जिसे डीबीओ भी कहा जाता है, वहां पर हमारी भारतीय वायुसेना के लिए एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट एयर स्ट्रिप जो है, जिसका निर्माण जो है वो बीआरओ कर रही है। इस वक्त वहां पर -30 से ज्यादा तापमान है। अभी जहां हम खड़े हुए हैं यहाँ पर -20 डिग्री तापमान है और बहुत ज्यादा सर्दी है यहाँ पर, बिल्कुल गलाने वाली सर्दी है। और अगर हम डीबीओ की बात करें तो वहां पर -30 से भी ज्यादा तापमान है, यानी कि बर्फ की कई फीट लेयर जो है वो वहां पर सड़कों पर अभी हो गई है, यानी कि जो बर्फ है, बर्फ की चादर से सड़कें जो है वो वहां पर धंस गई हैं। तो वो स्थिति है। लेकिन खास बात यह है कि अशोक टनल जो बनाई गई है ये बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि यहीं से अक्साई चीन जो है, जहां पर पाकिस्तान के कब्जे में जो अक्साई चीन है, जहां पर वो अपने मिलिट्री एस्टेब्लिशमेंट कर रहा है बीते कई सालों में लगातार, वहां से ये बेहद नजदीक है।
Moving on, India is preparing a major security upgrade for the national capital. The government is now moving to deploy a fully indigenous integrated air defense weapon system to protect Delhi NCR from hostile aerial threats, from missiles and drones to fast-moving fighter aircrafts. This new multi-layered shield will be built around homegrown technology, including the quick reaction surface-to-air missile system and very short-range air defense missiles supported by advanced surveillance and command control networks. This comes months after Pakistan allegedly attempted targeting India during Operation Sindoor. Crucially, this move marks a shift away from the earlier plan to buy the American NASAMS 2 system, reportedly shelved due to high cost. The project will now be driven by DRDO and Indian Air Force, with QRSAM, MRSAM and the upcoming long-range SAM under Project Kusha. India is steadily building a homegrown missile defense wall as it also awaits remaining S-400 units and studies the S-500 proposal. A big leap towards self-reliant air defense and a stronger sky over the national capital. Let's take a look at what's happening in the neighborhood. Tensions escalated outside Rawalpindi's Adila jail as family members of the former Pakistani Prime Minister and PTI founder Imran Khan staged a sit-in protest alleging mistreatment and illegal isolation inside the prison. These are the visuals coming in straight from Rawalpindi on your screens. Three sisters of Imran Khan on road as they take out their protest. His sisters Alima Khan and Uzma Khan joined PTI workers in voicing serious concerns over his health, security and lack of access despite a court's order permitting visits twice a week. Alima Khan, addressing supporters, said the family has been coming every Tuesday for 8 months but has repeatedly been denied meetings with Imran Khan. She accused the authorities of keeping him in unlawful solitary confinement and subjecting him to psychological pressure.
6 महीने 8 महीने से आ रहे हैं। हम ट्यूसडे को यहाँ बैठ जाते हैं जब तक हमें किसी को इजाजत नहीं मिलती मुलाकात करने की, क्योंकि इमरान खान को ये टॉर्चर कर रहे हैं। इलीगल आइसोलेशन में क्या हुआ है, ये इमरान खान का टॉर्चर खत्म करेंगे। ये टॉर्चर है जो इमरान खान के साथ कर रहे हैं, ये उसको तोड़ना चाहते हैं।
The protests intensified as senior PTI leaders including Salman Akram Raja and Junaid Akbar Khan arrived at the site, signaling the party's growing frustration. This comes weeks after Uzma Khanum was allowed a rare 20-minute meeting during which she claimed her brother appeared physically stable but was facing severe psychological pressure. Her allegation that Pakistan's army chief was responsible for mental torture prompted a sharp rebuttal from the military, deepening the war of words. The government has since barred Uzma and others from future visits, accusing them of violating prison rules by engaging in political discussions. With restricted access and conflicting claims, the concerns over Imran Khan's treatment in custody continue to mount further. These are the visuals coming in straight from Rawalpindi. As the sisters and PTI workers, PTI supporters are still waiting to catch some sort of update on Imran Khan's health. They've been trying to catch a glimpse of him despite of the order of visiting him. Their access to Imran Khan has been restricted. Shifting focus, talks between India and the United States are gaining momentum. Deputy US Trade Representative Rick Switzer is all set to visit India today for a visit. The visit comes as New Delhi seeks to ease the punitive US tariffs imposed on Indian goods following its purchase of Russian oil. The visit comes in the backdrop of Donald Trump's hinting fresh tariff on Indian rice exports now. Addressing to the media, Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal said that this visit is a familiarization visit as well as to meet with senior officials in the Government of India. Jaiswal said both the governments remain engaged with the objective of concluding a fair, balanced and mutually beneficial multi-sectoral financial trade agreement, adding that several rounds of discussions between the two sides have already taken place. And with that, it's a wrap from my side as of now. Do stay tuned to News9. Big news and developments will be followed up here on the other side.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा से लोन लेना एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक है.
Welcome to a cheese spread made with pure milk. For chilly evenings. For peppery sundowners. For garlic afternoons. For tikka picnics. Welcome to Amul cheese spread. Spread the richness.
यार सोच रहा हूँ पॉलिसी बाजार से टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ले लेता हूँ ताकि मेरे बाद फैमिली को पैसों की कमी ना. तू भी ले ले
यार. अभी तो यंग है यार, बाद में देखते हैं. आजा.
पॉलिसी बाजार पर 0 GST के साथ अब 1 करोड़ का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 400 रुपए महीने से शुरू.
Our honorary speaker Arun Maira from Tata Group to Member Planning Commission, author of Reimagining India's Economy. His journey defines corporate India's legacy. Eastern India's first Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025, 20th and 21st December, Taj Talkutir, Kolkata.
AIADMK presents Bomber Lorry Associate Sponsor, Mukhara Chowk Associate Sponsor, Alliance Broadband Associate Sponsor.
यही मौका है बिजनेस को बढ़ाने का.
पर पैसा अपनी सुपर पावर यूज करने का टाइम आ गया है. आप टेंशन मत लीजिए. IIFL फाइनेंस से झटपट गोल्ड लोन लीजिए और बिजनेस आगे बढ़ाइए. आपके जैसे सुपर हीरोज ऐसी छोटी मोटी प्रॉब्लम से थोड़ी ना रुकते हैं. इसीलिए लाइफ जब भी आगे बढ़ने का मौका दे तो अपनी सुपर पावर, अपना गोल्ड यूज करिए और IIFL फाइनेंस से गोल्ड लोन लीजिए. IIFL फाइनेंस करता है सीधी बात.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.
Hello and welcome. You're watching News9 with me, Ishita Mitra. Top stories from India and around the world coming straight up. Goa CM Pramod Sawant to hold emergency meet with the tourism department over nightclub fire tragedy, scheduled to brief press after the meeting. Goa nightclub co-owner Ajay Gupta breaks silence on the blaze that killed 25, denies his involvement, claims he was not an active partner. Goa nightclub owners moved Delhi High Court for anticipatory bail. Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra absconding after deadly fire that killed 25 in Goa. Indigo CEO Peter Albers and other senior executives expected to appear before the DGCA inquiry committee today. Regulatory action may follow if explanations found unsatisfactory. Crucial day for Tamil Nadu politics. AIADMK to hold a General Council and Executive Committee meet over 2026 elections and SIR in the state. At least 3 killed as a sleeper bus crashes into truck in Rajasthan. Sikar, 28 injured, 7 critical in late night accident. Welcome viewers. Our top focus at this hour. India's aviation sector is clearly grappling with one of its biggest crises with Indigo, the country's largest airline, now cancelling thousands of flights since early December. It has left passengers stranded and distraught across airports nationwide. And today, the CEO and the top management are in fact expected to appear before the inquiry committee. The crisis is now echoing all the way to the Supreme Court and the Delhi High Court as well. While the apex court called the situation serious, it stopped short of direct intervention, and the Delhi High Court will now hear a plea on the matter today. Now, at the government's end, sources say that a high-level meeting was held at Prime Minister's office last evening. It was attended by DGCA, Civil Aviation Ministry officials as well as AAI officials. The Aviation Secretary says 100% refunds for the cancelled PNRs are complete and most misplaced baggage is also being delivered, with about 90% already recovered, and the rest is expected within the next 24 hours. But the government, you see, is not letting Indigo off easy, and rightly so as well. Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu says that the chaos stems from the internal mismanagement, crew rosters, scheduling and poor communication from the airline. Now, the airline, in fact, has been ordered to cut its winter operations by 10%. It has to also submit its revised schedule by today. Yet, cancellations are still continuing, with over 400 flights on Tuesday alone, with Delhi and Bengaluru being the worst hit cities. Now, viewers, since this meltdown began, nearly 5,000 flights have been cancelled. And the fallout, in fact, is now hitting the economy as well. Trade body CTI now estimates rupees 1,000 crore in losses to Delhi tourism, exhibitions and business sectors. Footfall in markets is also down by 25% in 10 days. Hotel and event bookings have been wiped out, and even destination weddings are getting disrupted, with guests and families unable to fly and reach their destination. So clearly it has been a turbulent week for India's skies, and the country is now watching very closely to see if Indigo can finally stabilize its operations across the country.
That the disruption caused by Indigo's recent operational failures is now rapidly stabilizing. Indigo's daily flights, which had fallen drastically to 706 on 5th of December, have recovered to over 1,800 flights yesterday and are expected to rise further today. All other airlines continue to operate smoothly across the country, and the airports are reporting normal conditions without crowding or distress. Refunds, baggage tracing, and passenger support measures remain under continuous supervision by the ministry. At the same time, accountability will be ensured. DGCA has issued show-cause notices to Indigo's senior leadership and commenced a detailed enforcement investigation. Depending on the outcome, strict and appropriate action, as empowered under the Aircraft Rules and Act, will be taken.
Story joins me on the broadcast. Sabyasachi, the CEO and the top management will appear before the inquiry committee today, and it comes right after their meet with the Civil Aviation Minister. What can we expect from this meeting? Because it does seem like that the government is coming down hard on the airline.
Well, that's right. See, in fact, the Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu himself, both the houses, in fact, in Rajya Sabha as well as in Lok Sabha, has very well made it clear that you may be the highest shareholder as far as the aviation industry is concerned, but action will be taken. In fact, Ram Mohan Naidu, in multiple occasions, have clearly stated that Indigo is accountable for the current situation, and the crisis that we had seen was intentional. In fact, yesterday, two important meetings had taken place. One with the minister himself, where the CEO of Indigo was called in, was summoned. Now, after that meeting, Ram Mohan Naidu and the Civil Aviation Ministry had announced that a 10% cap on Indigo flights have been announced. That means around the 400 to 500 of the Indigo flights will be cut down as far as the winter scheduling is concerned. And earlier it was announced that 5% will be cut, but now it has been announced that 10% will be cut. Now the Indigo has complied with the new notification that has come in from the DGCA and the ministry. But it is also important to note that what led to this crisis. Now, immediately after the situation, another important meeting had taken place, and this meeting took place with the PMO officials, where the PMO officials, the officials from the DGCA, the Airport Authority of India, they were all present. Now the PMO was given the updated situation, what is the situation going across in different airports, as yesterday also several officials from the DGCA was sent to different airports across the country to see what was the current situation, whether crowd management is being done properly or not. So these are some of the actions which has been taken, and the investigation is underway. The committee has been formed, and on 15.
Right, Sabyasachi. So clearly a crackdown that we're now seeing from the government side, and rightly so, because, you know, we have seen it is one of the biggest aviation crises that India has witnessed in the last week. Passengers have been, you know, facing a lot of struggle as well. But I want to ask, you know, in terms of legal aspect, Delhi High Court is also expected to hear a plea on this matter. What can we expect on that front?
Earlier had reached out to the Delhi High Court for strong implementation as far as the FDTL norms are concerned, because the ministry, the guidelines which has been issued by the DGCA, that in two phases in the month of July, the first phase needs to be implemented, and by the month of October and November, the second phase needs to be implemented of FDTL. Now the pilot body had reached out to the Delhi High Court because they felt that DGCA has been continuously giving extension after extension to the Indigo, and these norms are not being implemented. Now Delhi High Court came into the picture and have directed the DGCA and the airlines that they need to rigorously implement the FDTL norms. Now the pilot body as well as several petitions has been filed in the Delhi High Court stating that this is a clear example of contempt of court, where the Delhi High Court had issued the order and the airlines have not followed that particular guidelines or order which has been issued by the Delhi High Court. So under these circumstances, the court needs to step in and take some strong action as far as Indigo is concerned. See, there has been certain changes as far as Indigo is concerned. See, yesterday, what we learned from the sources is that the Indigo officials, in fact, have notified the ministry that if a flight is cancelled, now they are going to let the customer know 72 hours before. Now, this particular point was made by the Indigo officials who was present in the meeting, because this clearly have led to the crisis at different airports and severe crowd gathering at airport, because they did not get the notification on time that whether their flights are delayed or whether their flights are cancelled, and till November around 5,000 of the Indigo flights were cancelled. So under these circumstances, these are the steps which have been taken by the Indigo. Meanwhile, the DGCA is extremely strict as far as action is concerned, because the committee which has been formed by the ministry, they have to submit a report to the ministry within 15 days, and today they are most likely to summon the Indigo CEO as well as the top management of the Indigo, and later once the investigation is over. Now they have to submit a report after 15 days. So after 15 days, we are going to see more strong action as far as penalties are concerned that will be imposed on Indigo.
All right, so we'll have to see how the legal proceedings go today, as well as the punitive action that could be taken in the coming days. But I want to ask, in terms of numbers and the operations, what are we looking at today? Have the operations stabilized? What are the number of cancellations we are looking at today, in fact?
See, we have to check the numbers, what is the exact number of flights that has been cancelled. But we can say, of course, that in some of the airports, flights have been cancelled. See, it will take time for the entire operation to get normalized. In fact, Indigo had notified the ministry yesterday that around till 6th of November, the complete refund has been provided to all the passengers, and the refunds which are yet to be provided to the passengers will be provided to them soon. In fact, as far as the missing luggage is concerned, Indigo says that out of 4,500 luggages have been given back to the passengers. Now the ministry is extremely clear that they have to make complete refund to all the passengers. In fact, Indigo says that till now around 829 crore of refund has been given to the passengers, and it is still in process, and they will achieve the 100% mark soon. So the ministry says that this is completely non-negotiable as far as the refund is concerned, or as far as the return of the luggage are concerned. Now that is the reason why we are seeing that a 10% cut as far as the winter scheduling of Indigo is concerned. And yesterday the ministry clearly stated that the Indigo currently is in no place to operate in full function, because they don't match the ratio as far as the pilots and planes are concerned, and also they don't have enough staff to get back to normalcy. So once they show compliance with the FDTL norms, then this 10% cut will be returned to the Indigo. Meanwhile, this 10% cut of flights will be given to other airlines in busy routes where large crowd could be seen, to manage the crowd properly. So continuous monitoring as far as the ministry is concerned is on Indigo, and Indigo have to provide every update to the ministry every single day.
Because you are speaking about the crisis and the timeline we're looking at, you already mentioned that 10% operations cut we are looking at, and this 10% will be given to other airlines. And of course, Indigo will now go on a hiring spree as well. So is there a timeline we're looking at to which operations could be stabilized?
The Indigo says that till 6th of November, they have provided the complete refund to the passenger. In fact, the Indigo is on a hiring now, and they have been trying to get more people on board. Now, Indigo says that they are ready to show compliance as far as the FDTL norms are concerned. In fact, that was the reason why the Indigo had asked the minister as well as Mocha to give them some extension as far as giving a proper reply is concerned, because Indigo also has set up an internal team for proper management in this crisis situation. Now, Indigo says that they are ready to show compliance as far as the directions that have come in from the ministry. In fact, yesterday when the ministry had told the Indigo officials that they are going to cut 10% of the flights as far as Indigo are concerned, and Indigo clearly have accepted the fact. Now, as far as accountability is concerned, the ministry clearly states that where accountability lies, action will be taken. So the ministry has not minced its words. They have been very clear that you may be the largest shareholder or stakeholder as far as aviation is concerned in the country, but that does not give you the right to create inconvenience as to the general public. And that message also have been made very clear from the PMO as well. See, the PMO also have been involved in the discussion. The ministry also have been giving PMO update every single day. So as far as the airline is concerned, they are limping. Yes, they are limping back to normalcy, but it will take certain time, because in several of the airports flights are still getting cancelled. But the Indigo says that slowly the number of flights getting cancelled every single day are being reduced.
I think that is the big takeaway, that Indigo must be held responsible for the crisis we've been witnessing for over a week now. And I want to, throw some light on this fact. Ram Mohan Naidu, he said that this chaos that we're witnessing, it stems from the internal mismanagement of the airline. So has the top management, the CEO, have they shown any remorse? Have they, taken up their accountability in this, in the meetings that we have seen so far?
The response, you have to understand the response that has been given by the Indigo, the deadline which has been shared, sent across by the ministry, that within this time frame, the airlines had to answer. Now, in the reply to the ministry, the airlines have said that there are 5 factors which have caused to the crisis. Now, one is the FDTL rule, one they have told about the weather conditions, one they have spoken about the winter scheduling. Now, the ministry says that the major factor here is the Indigo not showing compliance as far as the FDTL norms. Now, we need to understand, when there are other airlines like Akasa, Air India, which have shown compliance with the FDTL norms, why didn't the Indigo management shown compliance? And time again and again they have been asking extension after extension to the ministry. So as far as accountability lies, yes, there are questions being raised to the Indigo management. Why didn't the Indigo management complied with the FDTL norms? But also question arises towards the DGCA. It was job of the regulator to make sure that the airlines complied with the FDTL norms, and that also has been mentioned in the parliamentary committee as well. See, the parliamentary committee in the month of August, after July, the first phase of FDTL was implemented. Now, in the month of August, when the parliamentary committee on civil aviation met, in fact, one of the notification, I clearly remember, they have mentioned that they need to rigorously implement the FDTL norms. So that also has not been done, because after that we had seen that what ended up in the month of October and November. So as far as the Indigo
mismanagement and negligence on the airline's part. Thank you, Sabir, for joining us. I'm going to leave it at that, and we will continue to track this story. Now, another big story, in fact, coming up, global tech is now betting big on India. Amazon has now announced a $34 billion investment in India. It's going to take place by the year 2030. It's a big boost. It's going to advance AI innovation, create jobs in the country. And investment, in fact, if I have to give you a number, will create 1 million jobs. It's also going to boost exports. It's clearly a very big announcement coming from Amazon after Microsoft, Cognizant and Intel. Remember, this was a marathon of meetings that Prime Minister held with the tech CEOs yesterday. And after that, we also have a big announcement coming in today from the Amazon. It's a big push for India's tech future. In fact, Amazon has just announced $34 billion investment in India. It's going to take place by the year 2030. It's a big boost to advance AI innovation, create jobs in the country. And if I have to give you a number, it's going to create 1 million jobs. It's going to boost exports as well. So clearly, it's a big push for India's tech landscape. And it's a big announcement coming in from Amazon right after Microsoft, Cognizant and Intel. It's a big push for India's tech landscape, with Amazon now announcing a big announcement worth about $34 billion. It has also given a timeline. The investment is set to take place by the year 2030. It's a big push that's going to advance AI in the country. It's going to push innovation, create multiple job opportunities as well. All right, my colleague Kartik Malhotra, who tracks all this for us, is now joining on this. Kartik, clearly a good news for India's tech landscape. Amazon announcing a big investment plan, and right after Prime Minister Modi held a marathon meetings with the tech CEOs. How do you look at that, and also how it's going to benefit India?
Right. So, in fact, Jeff Bezos was not part of that meeting, and yet we are seeing this big development coming by way of Amazon committing to about $35 billion is what I read, and that's spread over the next 5 years. Now, remember, it's not an isolated event. The interest in AI globally is huge at the moment. Some critics also saying that this entire bet that big tech is making on AI could eventually turn out to be a bubble. But that notwithstanding, the kind of investment commitments in artificial intelligence by the big tech, popularly called the Magnificent Seven in the US, are huge. In fact, some estimates had suggested that OpenAI itself is looking at making as much as $7 trillion in investments in artificial intelligence over the next 5 years or so. But specifically for India, I think the next 5 years is what could define India's moment in artificial intelligence. While India continues to be a large user of AI, India is yet to become a creator of artificial intelligence, but all these investments coming, and if you look at it sequentially, the entire story started about 3 or 4 years back when Apple decided to double down on India to start making iPhones in India, when this entire narrative of a China plus one strategy was playing out in favor of India. So one would have argued at that point that Apple is a one-off exception simply because China under that lockdown is unable to deliver on the scale of iPhone production, and hence Apple looking at partners elsewhere, and India happens to be one of them. But that narrative completely changed this year when first you had Google making that $15 billion investment in WiseAct for data centers, which are getting created by Google. So that was a $15 billion investment announced a few months ago. Cut to that, just yesterday, you had Satya Nadella, who met Prime Minister Modi, committing to their largest ever investment in Asia, $17.5 billion. And now you add both these together and Amazon comes and sort of, exceeds that number, committing $35 billion over the next 5 years. So I think one thing is clear. AI is the flavor of the year, and India is definitely the flavor of the season when it comes to AI investments. Everything from data centers that Google announced to cloud infrastructure, which was announced, by Microsoft, and now AI capabilities, cloud infrastructure being announced by Amazon. It means pretty clearly that India is where AI infrastructure, the cloud infrastructure and the data centers are going to be built, are going to be resident. And, I think one cannot deny the kind of job opportunities that will likely create. Amazon is saying that this new investment spread over the next 5 years is likely to create another 1 million odd jobs. That's another 10 lakh jobs likely to be created for India. So obviously all this coming at a time when there is this momentum on AI globally, and India pretty much becoming the hotspot when it comes to preferred foreign FDI or foreign direct investment coming into the country.
Right, Karthik. In terms of impact, we are here looking at AI-driven digitization, export growth, as well as a job creation. You just gave us the number as well. But if because you mentioned that AI is the flavor of the moment, how would you describe right now the artificial intelligence infrastructure we have in India, and also how these investments are going to build up on that?
To be honest and to be fair, India itself is not big into its own AI infrastructure or AI-ready infrastructure. We don't have our own capabilities. For example, we don't produce any components that go into those data centers. We are a great enabler of the overall AI story, but it's a technology which has originated in the West. So at any point, if you're looking at mass adoption of any of those technologies which are there, which are being used, pretty much by every country in the world, then massive investments have to be made and diverse investments have to be made. So at a time when India's 1.4 billion people, a big percentage of those connected to the internet, in fact, India happens to be the largest market for ChatGPT, for example, as far as users and the user count goes, I think all this is absolutely significant, because where else would you rather place your data centers and where else would you rather place your cloud infrastructure? So the fact that you will have at some point, data sovereignty, which the government has been trying to accelerate over the last few years, you will pretty much be able to safeguard that data sovereignty also, by these foreign companies coming and investing in building that entire pipeline of infrastructure, which is going to be absolutely vital, not just for using of information available out there, but also the processing of the information. So every time there is a query that you put, let's say, in a ChatGPT or any other AI tool, the fact that it is eventually going to be processed using those large GPUs in data centers before the result comes back to you, the fact that all of that is going to happen right here from India is obviously great, not just for India, but but for the world as well.
Right, Karthik. So that's the big story of the hour. Global tech betting big on India. Thank you, Karthik, for joining us and putting this story into perspective for our viewers. Time now for a very short break, but don't go anywhere. News and developments continue on the other side.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.
Our very first Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025 on the 20th and 21st of December at Taj Talkutir, Kolkata.
AIADMK presents Bomber Lorry, Associate Sponsor. Mukhara Chowk, Associate Sponsor. Alliance Broadband, Associate Sponsor.
25 लाख का हॉस्पिटल बिल है, कितने पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे?
पैसों की चिंता आप मत कीजिए पापा।
मैम, सर का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस क्लेम अप्रूव हो गया है।
आप?
पॉलिसी बाजार।
पॉलिसी बाजार पर 0 GST के साथ अब 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
ये बेस्ट है मैम।
पर पहले वाला क्यों नहीं?
अजय भाई,
This one's for you. बिरला ओपस इंश्योरेंस देने के लिए।
ऐसा क्या है इसमें?
एडवांस क्वालिटी। 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे।
वापस करके देंगे।
वो भी फ्री।
पटेल भाई, you're a rock star.
क्वालिटी पे इतना कॉन्फिडेंस, इसलिए बिरला ओपस इंश्योरेंस रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
इस सीजन में हम आपको सैर कराएंगे ईस्टर्न यूरोप की एक ब्यूटीफुल कंट्री बेलारूस में।
Welcome back, viewers. And now returning to the Goa story, in a major development in the Goa nightclub fire tragedy, Ajay Gupta, one of the owners of the club where 25 people lost their lives, has now been detained by the Goa police in the capital city. Now, Ajay Gupta is in fact the brother of Amit Gupta, well-known North Delhi builder. Amit Gupta was in fact murdered by the Gogi gang in Burari 2 years ago. Now remember, Ajay Gupta is one of the 4 owners of the Birch By Romeo Lane nightclub, and earlier the state police had issued a lookout circular against him and another owner as well, Surinder Kumar Khosla. The police have so far arrested 5 persons in this case, including the nightclub's chief general manager Rajiv Modak, general manager Vivek Singh and others as well. Now here's a report by my colleague Puneet Sharma on the developments taking place in this case.
6 दिसंबर को गोवा के बिर्च बाय रोमियो लेन क्लब में आग में 25 लोगों की मौत हो गई और पुलिस लगातार इस पूरे मामले की जांच कर रही है। आज इस पूरे मामले में 6ठी गिरफ्तारी की गई है। अजय गुप्ता नाम के शख्स को गिरफ्तार किया गया जो क्लब में पार्टनर था और गिरफ्तार दिल्ली से किया गया है। दिल्ली के क्राइम ब्रांच के सनलाइट कॉलोनी के दफ्तर में इस वक्त इसी दफ्तर के अंदर अजय गुप्ता मौजूद है। दरअसल पुलिस लगातार अजय गुप्ता को ढूंढ रही थी, तलाश कर रही थी और उसके खिलाफ लुकआउट कॉर्नर नोटिस भी जारी किया गया था। गोवा पुलिस उसके दिल्ली के घर पर भी पहुंची, लेकिन वो घर पर नहीं था, फरार था। जिसके बाद पुलिस ने उसको दिल्ली में ट्रेस किया तो पता चला कि साउथ ईस्ट दिल्ली के एक अस्पताल में वो भर्ती है। जिसके बाद पुलिस वहां पर पहुंची और इलाज के बाद उसको आज गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया है और इस वक्त इसी सनलाइट कॉलोनी दफ्तर के अंदर अजय गुप्ता से पूछताछ की जा रही है। जब हमने उससे बातचीत करने की कोशिश की तो अजय गुप्ता ने साफ कहा कि वो क्लब में सिर्फ पार्टनर है, इससे ज्यादा वो कुछ भी नहीं जानता। फिलहाल जो लूथरा ब्रदर्स हैं वो लोग थाईलैंड में ही हैं और पुलिस उनको भी गिरफ्तार करने की कोशिश कर रही है। उनके खिलाफ ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस भी इस वक्त जारी कर दिया गया है। इस पूरे मामले में अभी तक 25 लोगों की दुखद मृत्यु हो चुकी है, लेकिन जो दूसरा क्लब था लूथरा ब्रदर्स का, उसके ऊपर प्रमोद सावंत सीएम ने बुलडोजर चलवाया। लगभग 200 मीटर का जो एरिया था उसको ढहा दिया गया है और अब तक इस पूरे मामले में मैनेजर सहित 6 लोगों की गिरफ्तारी की गई है। छठी गिरफ्तारी अजय गुप्ता की है। हालांकि जो उनके भाई हैं राजेश गुप्ता, पुलिस उनको भी गिरफ्तार करने के लिए कोशिश कर रही है और दोनों जो लूथरा ब्रदर्स हैं उनके खिलाफ भी ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस जारी कर दिया गया है।
And now viewers, more on this. Luthra brothers, who are the owners of the nightclub, have now applied for anticipatory bail in Rohini court to avoid the arrest. Now the investigation into the Goa nightclub inferno has in fact intensified with the In fact, viewers, according to the FIR, the owners, the partners, the manager, the event organizer along with the staff of the Birch By Romeo Lane in Arpora, they staged a fire show without a single fire safety device in place. There was no fire audit that was conducted. In fact, no precautions were taken. And this negligence is what the FIR says triggered the inferno that killed 25 people and left several tourists and employees with severe burn injuries. Investigators now say that the accused were in fact fully aware of the risks involved and yet they went ahead with the fire show. Now shockingly, the club had no emergency exits on either the ground floor or the deck, and there was in fact no safe escape route at all. And the restaurant itself was being run without mandatory permissions or licenses. So in the aftermath of this tragedy, what usually happens, the government has now woken up. The Goa government, in fact, has now moved into a crisis response mode. A joint enforcement and monitoring committee has been formed. It will be looking at the fire safety violations taking place across the state's tourism belt. Now, this multi-department panel will inspect nightclubs, bars, restaurants, hotels, beach shacks and even event venues. They will be checking fire certificates, equipment, electrical safety, exits, evacuation routes, occupancy limits, along with crowd control measures. In fact, the committee has also been empowered to carry out random surprise checks and they have to now file monthly compliance reports with the district magistrates. The chairperson of the committee has also been vested with the executive magistrate powers for the stricter enforcement of these rules. Now, viewers, district level teams comprising police officers, fire officials, PWD engineers, electricity department staff have also been deployed across the coastal region. Now, this order comes into immediate effect, indicating the state's intent to now prevent another disaster of this scale. Remember, it is a rare incident that has taken place in Goa. And in fact, now in the wake of this tragedy that Goa witnessed, Chief Minister Pramod Sawant has called for an emergency meeting this morning with the Tourism Minister and senior officials of the Tourism Department. The CM will hold a press conference as well shortly after the meeting. And the meeting here, viewers, aims to ensure strict adherence to safety standards in the tourism industry. And the Chief Minister, in fact, has made it clear that no negligence will be tolerated. A newly formed investigation and inspection committee has also intensified its work, becoming active overnight with surprise raids, inspection at bars, pubs, restaurants and clubs across Goa. Now, viewers, these actions are focused on fire audits, safety equipment and compliance with the safety regulations at these establishments. Remember, there is a crisis which is plaguing northern Goa of unregulated development. And in the crackdown on those illegal establishments, we're now looking at these actions being taken by the Goa government. And now, viewers, on to politics. A crucial day for Tamil Nadu politics as the AIADMK will now hold its General Council and Executive Committee meetings today. Now, with more than 2,000 members in attendance, including senior leaders, district secretaries, former ministers and special invitees, this gathering is now expected to chart the party's roadmap ahead for the 2026 assembly elections. AIADMK Secretary EPS will in fact preside over these proceedings, and the leadership is also expected to lay out the party's campaign strategy, discuss alliance equations and also review seat sharing framework specifically with the BJP and other potential partners in the state. Now, the agenda on the table also includes strengthening the organization, expanding the alliance footprint and building a narrative around the DMK government's performance. Now, these meetings, remember, come at a sensitive time following the high-profile defections that have taken place from the party, including K.A. Sengotian's shift to Vijay's TVK, which is, it seems like, a rising political player in the state. Now, discussions may also be held on OPS, who was expelled from the party and now has asked for a reunification. Remember, the expelled AIADMK leader had earlier announced that an important political decision will be taken by him on December 15th, depending on the outcome of today's meeting. EPS, on the other hand, is expected to use today's sessions to consolidate his authority over the party and also showcase that there is unity within the party. Now, lavish arrangements have been made at the venue with LED screens, dedicated dining areas and extensive crowd management plans already in place. Foreign ministers have inspected the venue as well to ensure a smooth logistics at the venues. So, with the 2020 elections approaching, today's meeting is widely being viewed as a defining moment for the AIADMK as it signals its preparedness, strategy as well as the leadership direction for the political battle ahead. So, clearly a crucial day when it comes to Tamil Nadu politics. We'll have to see how this meeting by the AIADMK pans out. What is the strategy that's going to come out as the elections are soon approaching, and it will in fact decide on the sharing plans it has with its potential partners, the campaign strategy it's going to follow, and how the cadre on the ground is now going to take up this campaign ahead. Remember, AIADMK is holding its General Council and Executive Committee meetings. And in fact, we will see more than 2,000 members attending, including senior leaders, district secretaries, former ministers and special invitees as well. What we're looking at is a roadmap that's going to come out for the 2026 assembly elections from the party. Now, here the General Secretary of the party, EPS, will be presiding over these proceedings, and it will also impact the party's campaign strategy going ahead. We'll also see some discussions on the alliance equations which are shaping up in the state, and a review is also going to take place of the seat sharing framework, specifically with the BJP and other potential partners. Now, viewers, the agenda we're looking at also includes strengthening the organization on the ground, expanding the alliance's footprint, and building a narrative specifically around the DMK government's performance in the last few years. Remember, the attacks from the AIADMK has been sharpening against the government, and a strategy around it is also going to be discussed today at the meetings. Also, remember, the meeting today comes at a very sensitive time. It follows high-profile defections from AIADMK, including K.A. Sengotian's shift to the Vijay's party TVK very recently. Now, we're also looking at discussions that could center around OPS, who was also expelled from the party and has now been calling for a reunification. Remember, the AIADMK expelled leader had earlier announced that an important political decision will be taken by him on December 15th. And in fact, it will depend on the outcome of today's meeting. So, a lot on table for today's meeting. My colleague Thoya Jakshi is now joining me on the broadcast. Thoya, it's clearly a very crucial day for Tamil Nadu politics, and a lot hinges on today's meetings as to how the AIADMK is going to go forward with its election campaign for the 2026 election. Workers, what are you picking up from your sources? What can we expect?
It is a very crucial meeting for AIADMK, which is happening currently in Vanagaram in Chennai under the leadership of Edapadi Palniswamy, the General Secretary of AIADMK. And this meeting, is very important, where the party is expected to pass resolutions, and it is also, the party has already passed 16 resolutions criticizing the DMK government for poor law and order, crimes against women, drug issues, corruption complaints, and unfulfilled promises by the DMK government. While also urging the union government to release the pending GST funds, solve fishermen's problems, and approve Coimbatore and Madurai metro projects as well. This meeting is very crucial, and it's also authorized that EPS to form a strong alliance for the 2026 elections to discuss on the seat sharing with allies, including the BJP, expand the alliance and review election plan work. More than 2,000 members, attending and this meeting, and the political move which happened recently by the O. Paneerselvam, the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Also, it is also said that this meeting is gaining more major attention as EPS seeks to show unity and strength in his leadership as well. Now, more importantly, AIADMK General Council empowers Party General Secretary Edapadi K. Palniswamy to decide about including more like-minded parties who wish to unseat, the DMK from the power into the AIADMK-led alliance. And now AIADMK General Council approves forging an alliance with BJP to face the 2026 elections.
Mentioned, Thoya, apart from the seat sharing arrangement with the political partners and, strengthening of the organization on the ground, we're also going to have a discussion on OPS. And meanwhile, OPS had announced earlier that he's going to make a big political announcement on 15th of December. So what are we picking on that?
AIADMK General Secretary Edapadi Palniswamy, it is also said that, the report, the sources that we are getting in over here is also saying that, Edapadi has, asked, that this General Council meeting, has empowered the Party General Secretary Edapadi K. Palniswamy to decide about including more like-minded parties who wish to unseat the DMK from the power into the AIADMK-led alliance. AIADMK General Council approves, for forging an alliance with BJP to face the 2026 Assembly election. It also said that, an important decision will also be, taken today in this meeting. And also it is likely, said that Edapadi Palniswamy is, will ask OPS to rejoin the AIADMK. This important decision will be made by OPS during his party meeting on the 15th of December. So, it is a very crucial meeting for AIADMK ahead of the 2026 Assembly polls, Ishita.
Right, Thoya, so clearly we'll have to track this story and what will be the outcome of these meetings. Thank you, Thoya, for joining us and putting this story into perspective. And now, viewers, in a major development in the probe into the Sabarimala gold theft case, the special investigation team of the crime branch will now record the statement of senior Congress leader Ramesh Chenithala. Now, the Arpora MLA is expected to reach the crime branch headquarters to give his statement on the allegations which are related to the involvement of an international antique smuggling racket in the gold theft at the Ayyappa temple. Now here, Chenithala had in fact reportedly sent a letter to the SIT alleging that the gold panels which were looted from the Sabarimala temple were handed over to the middlemen of an antique smugglers. And on Saturday, he told media as well that he holds evidence to prove his allegations while expressing his willingness to give a statement before the SIT. Now, he had alleged that those involved in the Sabarimala gold scam, they entered into a deal worth rupees 500 crore. And following this, the SIT then issued a notice asking him to come and appear for the interrogation, and today he will be doing the same. And now the Thiruvananthapuram Sessions Court will pronounce its order today on the anticipatory bail plea which has been filed by Palakkad MLA Rahul Mamutil in the rape case registered by the crime branch. Now viewers, the court had reserved its verdict earlier this week and had directed that no coercive action be taken against the MLA until the order is delivered, giving him some temporary protection from arrest. So the case was registered based on a complaint which has been filed by a 23-year-old woman who alleges that Rahul raped her after promising marriage. Now the complaint in fact was first emailed to KPCC President Sunny Joseph, who then forwarded to the State Police Chief, prompting the FIR. And viewers, according to the FIR, Rahul allegedly contacted the survivor via telegram back in the year 2023 and then later took her to a secluded homestay with the help of his friend who drove the car. And there, he's accused of raping her despite resistance and causing even injuries. Now, Rahul has been booked in this case under Section 376 of the IPC. And the probe currently is being led by Deputy SP Sajiv K of the crime branch. And now shifting focus, the Karnataka High Court has now withdrawn its stay on the state's new menstrual leave policy, and the matter will now return for a detailed hearing today. Now earlier yesterday, the court had in fact put the notification on hold after the Bangalore Hotels Association challenged this move, arguing that there is no statutory provision allowing the government to mandate paid menstrual leave. But Advocate General requested the court to reconsider, and now Justice Jyoti M. recalled the interim order, clearing the way for the arguments to resume in this case. Now remember, Karnataka recently became the first state in India to roll out a formal menstrual leave framework. It requires one paid leave a month for women employees, a move that many have welcomed, though industry bodies have also raised compliance concerns. Now with the stay lifted, all eyes are going to be on today's hearing, where the future of this landmark policy could take shape. And now viewers, for the first time on Indian television, News9 brings you an exclusive journey to the sacred land of Galwan, the ground where India's brave soldiers stood firm against Chinese aggression on 15 June 2020. Now our team reached the high altitude valley and captured rare visuals of the Galwan War Memorial recently dedicated to the nation. Viewers, this is a story of unmatched courage, sacrifice and national pride, a tribute to the heroes of India who wrote their history with their valor. Take a look at this report.
LAC पर दुश्मन के सीने पर सांप लौटाने वाली यानी कि दुश्मन को चौंकाने वाली तस्वीर आज हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं। यहाँ ठीक मेरे पीछे आप देख सकते हैं, ये शोक टनल है। शोक टनल जो कि बीआरओ ने बनाई है, हिमांक प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर ही इस शोक टनल का निर्माण किया गया है। और शोक टनल अपने आप में बहुत ही ज्यादा स्ट्रैटेजिक और इम्पोर्टेंस रखती है। हाल ही में रक्षा मंत्री राजनाथ सिंह ने करीब 125 परियोजनाओं के साथ साथ इस शोक टनल का भी उद्घाटन किया था। और इसकी जो लोकेशन है ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। ये इसलिए हम बता रहे हैं आपको क्योंकि जहां पर ये बनी है ये अपने आप में बहुत ज्यादा सामरिक है और बहुत ही ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है। आपको मैं दिखाती हूँ, यहाँ से आप शोक टनल आपको दिखाई दे रही है और इसके ठीक पीछे वहां पर जो आपको रेंजेस दिखाई दे रहे हैं, जो फीचर्स दिखाई दे रहे हैं, बेसिकली वो जो फीचर्स हैं वो काराकोरम के फीचर्स हैं, यानी काराकोरम पास यहाँ से नजर आता है, उसके पहाड़ नजर आते हैं। और यहीं से अगर हम आगे बढ़ते हैं तो इस शोक टनल को जब हम आगे क्रॉस करते हुए जाते हैं तो यही रास्ता दौलत बेग ओल्डी की ओर ले जाता है। दौलत बेग ओल्डी जो है डीबीओ, जिसे डीबीओ भी कहा जाता है, वहां पर हमारी भारतीय वायुसेना के लिए एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट एयर स्ट्रिप जो है, जिसका निर्माण जो है वो बीआरओ कर रही है। इस वक्त वहां पर -30 से ज्यादा तापमान है। अभी जहां हम खड़े हुए हैं यहाँ पर -20 डिग्री तापमान है और बहुत ज्यादा सर्दी है। यहाँ पर बिल्कुल गलाने वाली सर्दी है। और अगर हम डीबीओ की बात करें तो वहां पर -30 से भी ज्यादा तापमान है, यानी कि बर्फ की कई फीट लेयर जो है वो वहां पर सड़कों पर अभी हो गई है, यानी कि जो बर्फ है, बर्फ की चादर से सड़कें जो है वो वहां पर धंस गई हैं। तो वो स्थिति है। लेकिन खास बात यह है कि श्योक टनल जो बनाई गई है ये बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि यहीं से अक्साई चीन जो है, जहां पर पाकिस्तान के कब्जे में जो अक्साई चीन है, जहां पर वो अपने मिलिट्री एस्टेब्लिशमेंट कर रहा है बीते कई सालों में लगातार, वहां से ये बेहद नजदीक है।
And now viewers, to international news, talks between India and the US are gaining momentum. Deputy US Trade Representative Rick Schweitzer is set to visit India today for a crucial visit. This visit comes as New Delhi is now seeking to ease the punitive US tariffs imposed on New Delhi following its purchase of Russian oil. Remember, 50% tariffs imposed by Washington still remain in place. And this visit now comes in the backdrop of Trump also hinting at fresh tariffs on Indian rice exports. And now addressing to the media, MEA spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal said that this visit is a familiarization visit as well to meet with senior officials in the government of India. In fact, Jaiswal also said that governments remain engaged with the objective of concluding a fair, balanced and mutually beneficial multi-sectoral financial trade agreement, also adding that several rounds of discussions between the two sides have already taken place. Take a listen to this statement.
The new Deputy US Trade Representative, Ambassador Rick Schweitzer, he will be visiting India on 10th and 11th of December. This visit is a familiarization visit, as also to meet with senior officials in the government of India. As you are aware, both governments remain engaged with a view to concluding a fair, balanced and mutually beneficial multi-sectoral bilateral trade agreement.
And now viewers, a major setback for